Okay, if we could all come to order, please. We can begin the work session of the River Edge Mayor and Council for Monday, May 19th, 2014. The time is a little after 7 p.m. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by sending notices on December 20th, 2013 to the Record and the Ridgewood News, by putting notice of this meeting on the bulletin board in the lobby of the Borough Hall, and by filing the notice of this meeting with the municipal clerk. I'd like to remind all members of the public that we have 3 fire exits in council chambers, 2 to the front and 1 to the rear. In addition, we are on the record. We are being recorded both by video and by audio for the entire meeting. If during the public portion of the meeting, if any member of the public wishes to speak, they need only give us their name and address, and then they can make a comment or direct their question to the council. Hopefully we'll be able to provide them with an answer to the question if it's not in the form of a statement. Can I have a roll call, please, Madam Clerk?
Councilwoman Murphy?
Here.
Councilman Capola?
Here.
Councilwoman Seed?
Here.
Councilwoman Young? Absent. Councilman Aquafrida? Councilman Capola?
Here.
And Mayor Mascaratello?
Here.
And Thomas Serwa?
Here. All right. We have ongoing elected officials training. Alan, could you give us the status?
Thank you, Mayor. I can report that the Joint Insurance Fund has extended the date to May 31st. So for those of you that still have not completed the online training, it can be done online. Contact our office tomorrow. We'll be happy to send you those instructions. If you'd like to do it in person, they announced that there is one additional in-person training session June 5th at 6 o'clock, Midland Park. But you need to register before the 31st so that we can get credit for it. If you've taken the course, please make sure that we have a copy of your certificate on file. Mayor, that's all I have on this item for tonight.
All right. Is there any council member here who has not yet taken the, Anthony?
Yep, I'm going to get on that tonight, tomorrow.
It's only 25 minutes, and then you print out something. You print out a certificate or something. We get a $250 credit towards the borough's insurance premium. Next is 4 items on for discussion. One is to authorize the mayor to sign a revocable license for the placement of a fence over an easement at 131 Valley Road. Alan, what backup do we have for that?
We sent out some information to Mark Skurberts, Bob Costa, and John Lynch to take a look at the placement of the fence. And I know John Lynch got back to us. He felt that the size of the yard was adequate without extending the fence onto the borough property, so he would not recommend it. Mark Skurberts, I believe, did take a look at it, but really had no comment except to say that, yes, it was going on to borough property, and that it was up to the mayor and council as to whether they wanted to enter into an agreement for this purpose. I have not heard from Rob Costa on this matter. We also have another fence issue before you tonight, so I don't know if the borough attorney would like to talk about that in conjunction with this. But if you decide not to do this tonight for whatever reason, or to postpone it, there is a resolution on 14-231 which would have to be tabled if there's no action on this item tonight in work session.
All right, maybe we could have a report on the 165 Adams Avenue fence issue from our borough attorney, Mr. Sarlo.
Yeah, this was the one last month. The neighbor came and issued a complaint that her neighbor, which was the 165 Adams, had a fence that was encroaching on borough property. We asked Mark Skurberts to do an investigation. Alan and I received an email indicating that according to the survey, he reviewed the survey, and that the fence installed has been installed on the right-of-way of Oak Avenue, and that it is encroaching on borough property. He did not give us any specifics. I'm not sure if he actually went out and viewed the site, because the email says he reviewed the survey. We're not certain how long it's been there and what the actual encroachment is. So this is just a follow-up to the neighbor's complaint. If you want, we can go back to Mark and ask for a site inspection and some additional information indicating how much it's being encroached upon, maybe how long the fence has been there, when the permits were pulled. I'm not certain. I believe it was a fairly new fence, if I recall, but I'm not certain on that. Or you can just act upon giving a license or instructing me to send a letter to the homeowner removing the fence. But that's what we have right now. We do have confirmation that there is an encroachment, but we don't have any other specifics.
All right, I'll open it up to the floor for discussion. My comments would be that the very short memo we received from Mr. Skirvis is insufficient to provide us with proper evidence in which we would need to make a decision. We don't know how far the fence is on borough property, the width, the length, the square footage, if it's a new encroachment or if it's a long-standing encroachment. I think that we should at least have that basic information before we decide to take the next step.
I would
Anybody
concur.
agree, disagree?
Yes, that would be a good way to go with this.
So let's,
Mayor?
yes.
We've kind of melded the two together, 131 Valley with 165 Adams. I agree, we don't have enough information for 165 Adams, but I'd like for us to talk a little bit about 131 Valley. Do you want to deal with them separately?
Separately, yes.
All right, I agree with your recommendation for 165 Adams.
All right, so let's just table this for discussion for now. We're going to get more information and put it back on the agenda for further discussion.
I'll send an email to Mr. Skirvis requesting additional information and actual site inspection that he went out there.
Regarding 131 Valley Road, we can open that up for discussion. Does anybody have an opinion?
Well, I have a concern more than an opinion at this point. If I remember Superintendent Lynch's comments in his report, his comments were that we should not be granting licenses, especially in that area, because of falling of trees. He had a question, or he had a concern about if we grant a resident the right to encroach upon borough property and then a tree should fall, are we in any way liable for the replacement or repair of the tree? So these are questions that I don't have the expertise to answer, and I would like to, maybe get our borough attorney or our business administrator to weigh in on, so that I have more information in which to vote or develop an opinion at this time.
Alan, is this a property that backs up against a brook?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
We have a map.
Yeah, typically, we have the brook in town on Valley. We have an easement on either side of the brook for maintenance. There's photographs that are included in the file that I can pass around to show the homeowner's backyard, which is a nicely maintained
No, I've seen them there.
green grass backyard. I think it's only a question as to how far onto the borough easement, if at all, the council should be allowing the fence to be put up. So, I don't think if there's no survey or anything, again, I don't know how we could decide this, or whether it's good public policy.
Yes.
Didn't we...
My question, too.
Haven't we already given one of these to a resident in that area? Weren't they granted one a few months ago?
I know the only instance during my term is an instance where the property owner had a long-standing fence that had been there a long time. That was a minimal encroachment of borough property, and it was brought to our attention. And rather than force the property owner to remove the fence and change the location, put up a new fence, we just granted a revocable license.
And how does it differ from this one?
This is a guy who doesn't have a fence on his, he has a fence on the side, he wants to put one on the back, which is against the borough property.
Is the tree like where the borough property begins, in the back?
No. There's another photograph that shows the backyard. You see where it starts to get thick back there in the back? Well, some portion of that is, borough property. And I guess he's been, seeding it or extending his backyard, and now wants to put the fence up.
In my opinion, you have to be very careful issuing licenses. It is borough property, it is town property, and to provide borough property for the use of one resident, and by them extending their property, you have to be careful with that. These licenses should be granted in very narrow, exceptional circumstances, just as the mayor indicated, something that's been there long-standing, it's not a serious encroachment, and by having the property owner take it down, it'll be a large cost to the property owner. It may impact the situation now even further because the fence has been there for so long. Things like that, and why you give the revocable easement is so there's a thing called adverse possession in the law where after a certain amount of years the property may revert to the homeowner, so you want to avoid that, and you tell the property owner, we recognize you're using it, our property, or you have been using it, we'll allow you to continue using it, however at any point in time we can simply say we need to get on it or we need to take it back. But when there is nothing there now, and to simply make an exception and to say, well, because you've been maintaining it or because it'll look nice in your backyard, you got to be careful because it's borough-owned property, and I don't think it's really in the purview of the mayor and council to give that away to a specific homeowner.
It seems that if there's no fence there already, that this would be easy to just, say no.
Is that it? Yes.
I just have a question. There's nothing preventing this homeowner from putting the fence on his property. He's just asking for more.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure I
Just
understand.
asking for a bigger backyard.
I just want to make sure I understood.
It's at the expense of property, borough property.
So if the council's opinion is it has sufficient information in order to make a decision, then you know how to do it. You make a motion.
I would make a motion to deny to allow them to take borough property to put their fence on.
This is,
Can I ask you a question, because we're on the fence issue? Is there...
wait a minute, we're going to open to the public in just a minute.
Okay.
So there's a motion regarding the 131 Valley Road.
To deny the resolution. I would second that.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? All right, let's just get into the community center survey, because Alan?
Just please remember to ask that 14231 be tabled tonight. That's a resolution that's on the agenda, public agenda. So that in conjunction with this decision, 14-231 should be tabled.
231.
Thank you.
All right, the next thing on for discussion is the community center assessment survey and opinion survey. I know we have many members of the public here tonight that wish to speak on that, so I'm going to take things out of order, and if I can have a motion to open to the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, now we're open to the public. I know this gentleman over here had his hand up before, so I'll
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen, I live on 46 Lake District. My name is Konstantin Krechnescu, and I've been living in this town since 1996, on June 1996. Although there are a couple of issues that I want to bring to your attention. My daughter grew up in this neighborhood. My wife is a nurse at the Valley Hospital. She's an intensive care and hemodialysis. I worked in Jersey City. I worked in financial race. I'm a senior financial analyst, and I work for a brokerage firm. The reason I come here is that, okay, first of all, the issue of defense. Mr. Mayor, question is there a variance that you would have to put the fence, you can put the fence on a property line, and say, our property is about 50 by 100. So is there a limit, can you put the fence on a property line?
No, there's a buffer zone, I believe it's...
6 to 12.
Yeah, I was gonna say 18 inches, it may be 6 to 12, every town varies, I don't know
But
specifically.
I'm questioning because when I moved in, the fence was already there. I'm living for more than 20 years.
Right.
So it's already grandfathered.
Okay.
Okay, so that was one of my questions. So the other question that I have is that my block, my section of the block from the Valley Road to the highway, to the exit to the highway, to the Route 4, is extremely busy. We do have a lot of concerns. We do have children. We do have pets. I have 2 cats that like to go outside. There are a lot of people speeding on that section of the block. I used to come, I know I come years ago, and there was somebody from the police department that, listened and said, what are you going to put? And they had some kind of, police cars that are watching the neighborhood. I know the children right now are out of school. They're going to be out of school pretty soon. They were playing right across from me. There is a family that rents that house, and they're renting that house. They play with the ball and everything else. The other thing is, I don't know what kind of grade of the asphalt coat that you did on my block, but because it's so busy, and this winter was very harsh, and we have to deal with all this gravel that breaks apart, and we have a lot of potholes. Not only that I have the sound from the highway, which I got used to it, it's my choice, but also we have all these bumps in the night, because right now it's extremely pleasant to sleep with the window open, not using the AC or anything else, and it's pretty much annoying. I would love to consider for that section, because it's so much traffic, an I-6 grade for the pavement, something that will be and will last a long time. It's extremely busy, and probably Mr. Mayor, you know how is that section. Now I saw that the development with the total line pretty much curved, the exit to the little strip to the highway. I know for a fact, because I'm in the neighborhood for a long time, that there was a plan to block Lakeview Street to exit to the highway. In the end, you probably remember because you were here. I would love that. I would definitely love that, because it doesn't hurt me to make a left and then go on the Boulder Road and exit to the highway. And all the traffic would be diverted to the Boulder Road, which is pretty much apartment buildings on the side, right? The other thing is that I know it's public, the public streets, and I'm very pleased that we can park our cars in the streets. Although I do park my car on my driveway. My wife, I have a one-car garage. My wife keeps the car in the garage, but because I'm so close to the apartments, the increasing population in the apartments and the vehicle that they drive, and they park into my block. Mr. Mayor, it's only 50 by 100. It's only a little, you park a car, that's it. If my daughter comes to me to visit from Pennsylvania, she will have a place to park, It's very, very annoying. And I tell you, my neighbor across the street, he's got a truck, he's got a DirecTV business, he keeps in his back, and he parks his car in the front there. He's got 4 cars, And this is America, it's everybody can have as many as they want, they pay their taxes, right? Like we can have as many houses in lieu of taxes, because you are the supreme landlord of the land. We have the right to use it in lieu of taxes, okay? Now, so this is one of my concerns. The last one that I want to bring to your attention, as I mentioned before, and I know it's a steep battle for us, but when I moved in 1996, my property taxes were $3,300. The house was built in 1927, and I'm a financial analyst, I'm a number guy. And I'm questioning, and I'm in here also, besides I have a master's in engineering from the Brooklyn Tech in Brooklyn. I'm questioning, how come the property taxes increased so little till 1996? And in the last 20-something years, it tripled. I know, you have only 30%. I'm not questioning the school budget with you. I'm questioning that your portion, the 30%, that it's your portion of the taxes that I pay. I mean, I, as a professional and everything, I worked for my company for 8 years already, and I survived all these crashes on the Wall Street, and I tell you what, we are number 2 brokerage firm, our commission brokers. But what I'm saying is, in 8 years, I got only $5,000 increase. And they don't pitch into my 401k. They don't give you an excellent, benefit package and everything. It's like, take it or leave it. Right? So that's an approach. But I'm saying, we have to manage. We have to manage our resources and to look into all these, not the expenses and everything. Is it necessary? I mean, do we have to change the technology, the fixed assets or all the other stuff? Or the fixed assets including the staff costs, including all these pensions and all the other stuff. And these are fixed costs, right? And then the variable cost, we have to manage those either. So we can come down to a, agreement. I know the expenses of everybody, the life, the cost of living and everything increased. But you know what? Look into your constituency, Mr. Mayor. They are senior citizens. They live on a fixed income. And I'll be soon. I'm 55. And I'm looking forward to it. And I want to live a longer life, right? We don't have too much to stretch. It's not, our income is not elastic like yours. I know for a fact, and I learned from the business school, that government thinking is we have unlimited resources of funds. Well, I think it's about time to think the other way. And I'm not questioning things that we have to do it. I'm not a Republican nor a Democrat in a political party. I'm not affiliated with any kind of party. But I'm thinking, what would make common sense to us? What are the minimum expenses? And what can we give a relief to our citizens and our residents here to make our town better? Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, thank you. Just let me understand the issues, the areas that you addressed in your comments. You've been a resident since 1996. You live at 46 Lakeview Street. You're concerned about speeding. You're concerned about the condition of the Lakeview Street itself.
Mr. Mayor, just have a walk on that block.
I will. I'm doing a lot of walking these days.
Thank you. But you will see for yourself how many potholes are. And the quality of the blacktop, it's miserable. And it was a hard winter, no question about it. Even my house...
One of our worst winters.
Well, it can be better. I can tell you that. And with the global change, global climate change and everything, we can expect more winters like that. And very hot summers. But my house is a little bit elevated from the ground. My garage and my basement is at the street level, so I have a tennis court. And I have, masonry work on this thing. The water seeped into it, and now I have to go and fix this. So I'm not saying that it's something that, but to me, it looks like, because since they did the road years ago, and you can please check, see when they repaired the road and everything.
I'm going to check for you because we have a...
I know you have a schedule to do it.
We have a schedule, and I have to see where Lakeview Street is on the list.
Okay, now, because you brought this to my attention, there is a schedule, but sometimes there are priorities. And I'm saying that my house is facing the road, and it faces that brook that you were talking about, the fence, towards it. So I sleep with my window open at this time. But I tell you, I can hear the bombs into the street and everything, and everybody's like, boom, 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 boom. And then besides that, Mr. Mayor, it's not safe because all these pebbles, the gravel, if the tires are skidding off, they can throw them any place. it's a safety issue and a concern.
Okay, all right.
Thank you very much.
The other thing I wanted to just mention to you is that we have just approved our budget. We approved our budget in April. We have a public hearing on the budget, but we begin working on the budget in December.
Okay.
And we have weekly meetings, usually Saturdays, usually beginning at 8 o'clock. One of us brings bagels. It's not on the taxpayer's dime. And we have... Wait a minute. And we have all of our department heads present their budgets to us. Alan, our CFO, gives us suggestions on way to cut the budget, to reduce spending. We have many fixed costs, as you can imagine. And we have, as a component of that, we have a citizens budget committee that sits with us. Men and women like you out there, who, and some are, we have a CPA, we have a member of the Board of Ed.
I'm a CFA certified.
Okay, so you're more than happy, if you want to give your name and address to Stephanie Evans, our borough clerk, and we can put you on the Citizens Budget Committee.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I would love to take part of that, because not only that I'm an MBA, I'm a CFA. I did take the whole 3 steps of the CFA, and I was involved, and I'm involved in my company, preparing the budget with all the stuff. We use Oracle system. My headquarters is in London. So I'm involved. We do a budget at the beginning of the year. We reforecast sometimes in February, and we have a Q1 forecast. And now, after the summer ends in about July, the end of July and August, we're starting preparations for the Q3 forecast. So I'm pretty much involved in that. I'm the one who does it, actually.
Good.
So I would love to go over with all these expenses and everything, and just go beyond the numbers and things that make sense to us.
We'd
And
like to have you.
I will not charge that. It will be my relief to make sure that everything is straight.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Community Center Survey. People who want to be heard on that? Yes, ma'am. Give us your name and address.
Good evening, Mayor Mascaritolo and council members. Is this working?
Yes.
Hello?
There you go.
Okay. My name is Sandra Berman. I've lived at 373 Oak Avenue for 46 years. About 6 years ago, I appeared here as a spokesperson for SCORE, the Senior Citizens of River Edge. At that time, SCORE was going to be relocated into the River Edge Library. I called attention to the fact that we just wouldn't fit into the library because the facilities were not large enough for us. We need a kitchen, a large lunchroom, large tables and chairs, hardwood floors for dancing and exercise classes, a piano, a game room, a discussion room, and an office with storage space for our copy machine, CD player, microphone, and membership records. We now have 80 members and have been getting new members regularly. Since the space we rent is utilized by many others after and before us, we cannot leave our things out that we need from day to day or week to week. There is also very little storage space, and we must carry a good deal of our supplies back and forth weekly. It is similar to moving in and moving out every week. We find it very difficult not having our own place. Other seniors in Bergen County enjoy a 5-day-a-week hot lunch program. Our own senior center within a community center could qualify us for the Bergen County Senior 5-day-a-week meals. This program provides the 1/3 recommended dietary reference intakes, DRIs, for older adults. The weekly average nutrient amount of each meal is 30% or less fat, 50 to 55% carbohydrate, 15 to 20% protein, 1,000 milligrams or less sodium. Salt is not added to any recipe. Each meal is served with skim milk and a choice of coffee or hot tea. Many of our members are elderly retirees and live alone. Some have hearing, vision, and other physical deficits. Shopping for the right diet and preparing and cooking the food for one person can be burdensome at times. SCORE is their home away from home. For the past 10 years, I have enjoyed being a member of SCORE. I hope you will consider the Bergen County 5-day-a-week senior center with the 1/3 recommended dietary reference intakes called DRIs for older adults. I sincerely thank you for your time and for all you have done for SCORE.
Well, thank you. Is it Sandy or Sandra?
I'm Sandra.
Sandra.
So,
I'm Sandy.
how do you do?
Thank you for appearing. I know you brought probably more than 24 members of SCORE with you today. We're just getting the survey off the ground to find out what the needs of not only your organization is, but our recreation department, our historical committee, our shade tree committee, where we don't have, as you know, we don't have a community center in town. The building that the town does own is probably not large enough to accommodate SCORE and all the other activities we would like to have there. But the first thing we need to do is find out what the needs of the community are. So, and that's why we put out two surveys. One is for your organization to answer as a whole, which you could give us the number of members and the space requirements that you need. And the other one is an opinion survey that any individual can fill out and tell us, should we include SCORE in the community center? Should we include the cultural center in the community center? It just asks for an individual's opinion. So you can fill out both of the surveys, the opinion one and the needs assessment one, and return them to our municipal clerk. And we're going to do this process throughout the month of May, and we're going to gather up all the data, and we're going to sit down and discuss it as a council, and then we're going to see if we can come up with a plan to address everyone's needs. So again, we want to thank you for appearing today and giving us your opinion, and we'd love to be able to have SCORE meet more than 1 or 2 days a week, to meet 5 days a week at a location. Would be just great.
I'm just wondering if we had any copies printed off.
We gave them out today.
Okay, great.
Yes, we have them. But when I saw them, they are definitely in by June 6th. Is that the last date? If there's none can come after that, because I need time to work on the survey.
Just get them into us. We're not going to hold you to a particular time.
Oh, that's great. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're still open to the public. If any other member of the public wishes to speak now. Mary Donahue.
Mr. Mayor and Council, I'm here today from the Historic Newbridge Landing State Park Commission and from the Bergen County Historical Society. And we thank you for your past cooperation and assistance, and we'd like you to hear some problems that we're having, some issues that we're having with the PSC&G, and we're hoping that we might be able to have a resolution from the mayor and council to assist us if possible. First of all, we know that there is nothing that you can do with the appearance of the substation where it is. But recently we have noticed that shrubs that have been placed along the fence of the property, we hope that they could be larger. It's a very ugly sight for a visitor, historic visitor, to come to Newbridge and face the substation. We know that you can't hide the substation, and that the substation is necessary and useful, but perhaps it can be, let's say, enhanced a little by shrubbery placed before it. In times past, PSE&G had a very forbidding sign that said that trespassers will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And of course, that wasn't a very welcoming first thing to see, and they have removed it. They have cooperated, and we are good neighbors with PSE&G. The second thing that we would like you to consider is that in October, we are having a Bergen 350 Gala, where we hope to raise the balance of the funding that is needed to build a museum at the site. The museum that we're planning on the outside is going to look like a barn to fit in with the architecture of the other buildings there. But in the inside, it's going to be a state-of-the-art museum. The whole property is very badly approached, or a very bad presence are the big poles that PSE&G has on the border of our property. Now, those poles are located in areas where they could be placed underground. You don't have to dig up sidewalks. You don't have to dig up road. We would like to see if it's possible, with all the work that PSE&G is doing in putting up these 70-foot poles in other towns, and I fear that they're going to be coming here soon, that we ask if they could possibly be placed underground. This would be a very important first step for the construction of the museum. It would enhance the property. So we ask if you... I have written a letter to David Hollenbeck, who is the Regional Public Affairs Manager. I will leave you a copy of the letter that we have sent. But we would like your assistance and your support in asking PSE&G to remove these poles. First of all, they would restore the beauty of the river landscape, the riverscape, and this would be a very important thing. You know that we're trying to create an economic opportunity at Newbridge Landing, and this is going to be a very important first step. And the last thing that we are asking, whether PSE&G could keep us informed of any plans that they have for the substation at the lower end of town. We know that that facility very frequently is under 3 to 5 feet of water when we have a bad storm. We believe that we may have property that we might be able to exchange, that's dry land, where we might be able to exchange for the availability of that property so that we can continue that as part of the park. So that's what I'm here for. This is what I'm asking you. And I'm also reminding you that we're going to have a big gala in October.
October
15th, where
October 17th.
There will be more information coming on that. And the funding raised will take care of the final amounts that we need for the construction of the museum.
Where is the gala going to be held?
In Garfield.
In Garfield?
Yes.
Mary, in the notes here, in the minutes, it said it's on October 17th.
It's October 15th.
Is it a Friday or a Wednesday?
It's a Wednesday.
Okay, that's the 15th.
So we hope that you'll all be able to come and that you will be able to support all our efforts in doing that.
We have, you're going to have a vintage baseball game again this year?
Yes, we are.
In July?
In July.
I think, when is the date in case members of the public wish to attend? Is it July 5th?
I think it's July 5th, I'm not sure. but that's one of the big events that
Are
was
there
very
any
popular.
festivals coming up? What happened to the wine festival this year?
The wine festival will take place in October.
October?
We're going to have a beer fest.
A beer fest?
And of course, we have the naturalization ceremony in September.
In September. Okay,
All right,
if
thank
you
you.
give us a copy of your letter to Mr. Hollenbeck,
Yes.
we'll distribute it to council, we'll discuss it, and then council can write a letter in support of your request to PSE&G to improve the buffer area between the substation
Yes,
and
along the fencing.
Yes,
Along the fencing, we'd like,
I know there are some missing,
Yes.
some dead shrubs there.
Yes.
They're not very high.
That's right.
They could definitely be,
but
area
the
could definitely
poles,
be
the
improved.
poles are the big thing. If we could remove those poles, since they're doing so much work in the area,
Uh-huh.
that would be a great benefit
To put underground
to
utilities
put them
there.
underground.
You know, you might have to look for because PSE&G is going to charge a lot of money for that. If you're going to, your plea to them has to stress the fact that you're a nonprofit association.
Of course.
And it should maybe be included in a grant application to, open space or something like that.
Well, we're investigating every avenue to see what we can do. We'd like to have them removed before we start construction.
All right, thank you, Mary. It's
Thank
always
you
good
all
to see
very,
you
very
again.
much for all your support.
Any other member of the public wish to speak? Yes, ma'am. Can I have your name and address, please?
Phyllis Ross, 186 Vanson Drive. Phyllis Ross, 186 Vanson. I've been in town for over 45 years, and I love this old town, and I am quite upset about the situation with the new Total Wine, which brings you out from 4 into the marginal road, and if you're coming on Trinidad going south, you can't get to Main Street anymore. It's totally blocked off because the car is going onto 4 in front of the new area, which is Total Wine and will be CVS. It's backed up, and they blocked Kinsneck Road, and that traffic goes all the way to Hackensack Avenue, and I would like to know, because I called the office 2 times in the last 2 weeks, and I never got a return call. And has anyone investigated this and what is being done? It's tough enough getting off Route 4 on that long road, the service road, that gets us to that area.
To Kinderkamak, right?
Yeah, and no, I'm talking about the marginal road to go to Bogut Road, let's say.
Okay.
Okay, I'm talking about 2 different things, actually. I'm sorry if I'm confusing.
I'm trying to follow you.
But, okay, there are 2 issues that I'm talking about, traffic patterns. One, coming off, going west on Route 4, you come off the road, there's the service road there, and now the new Total Wine is there. Now they brought the street all the way out, so that when you made a right turn, not in front of Main Street, but onto Bogut Road, you now have to go around it and scoot around, because now there's been provisions for some foliage, okay? It's very hard getting off Route 4 there, so now everyone's going to stop in Liberec to get their alcoholic supplies on the way home to work. They'll never be able to get through that area. The other area I'm talking about is coming south on Kinderkamak Road to the Main Street area. You can't get through if you want to get to Route 4 going east, because the traffic is backed off from the Route 4 Main Street and the marginal road in front of the bank, and it goes beyond Kinderkamak Road to the railroad track. And so if that light turns green, you're out of luck. You cannot get through there. How do we put a big store on the corner there and not provide some proper traffic pattern there? I'd like to know what's being done about it.
All I can tell you is that the marginal road is owned by there's all different overlapping jurisdictions. Marginal road is owned by the state. It's the state Department of Transportation that owns that. Of course, the municipality owns Bogut Road. Kinderkamak Road is a county roadway. I've attended meetings with our municipal engineer and the County of Bergen and the state DOT to try to come up with a reasonable traffic pattern for that area, because frankly, it's a nightmare, and it's not going to get any better. Once Total Wine opens, it's going to exacerbate the problem, because you have traffic going in, I think it's 5 or 6 different directions at the same time at that one intersection. You have cars going westbound on Marginal Road to get on Route 4. You have cars that are westbound on Marginal Road that are turning onto Main Street, that are turning onto Bogart, that are turning onto Lakeview. You have traffic from Lakeview and Bogart Road that can make a right and go onto Route 4, or make a left and go into the center of the chaos over there.
What is being done about this?
Well, that's the way the roads are. And I'm telling you, it's just the state...
Why if we put Total Wine there, everyone sees Total Wine from the road.
Right.
We have all kinds of murals, everyone's going to see it, everyone's going to come to Main Street, and we don't have a plan? I don't know, I'm distressed about it. I don't think that's right for the town.
We couldn't prevent the property owner from developing the property. We couldn't do that. The roadways are what they are. We can put in certain traffic controls. We could put in a stop sign. We could put in a light. We can't put a traffic officer there 24 hours a day.
Well, maybe we can do something like they do in New York City. They block the box. Like we have a design on Smack Road, which is squared, and you don't block the box, but you can get a ticket to do it. So that prevents the traffic coming from Hackensack Avenue, the new bridge, making that turn and blocking Smack Road, so we cannot go south. I mean, it's happened to us at least 4 or 5 times. We need to do something between Main and Kindercommand.
Yeah, I've never seen it that bad, but that's a violation. If they block the intersection, that's a violation. That's a violation.
So if we put some sort of paint, don't block the box.
No, all we have to do is we could put a traffic camera there. We can ask the police chief to step up enforcement at that intersection from people that block the intersection, because that's just a violation. That should not happen.
Yeah. Well, it's happened to me and my husband together at least 3 times.
3 times?
Yeah.
All right.
So I just want to bring it to your attention.
All right, thank you very much. Anybody else wish to be heard? Can I have a motion to close the hearing to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, on the rest of the work session, there's a consent agenda. Does any member of the council wish to pull out a separate item on the consent agenda for discussion? Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let the record reflect that Councilman Acquafreda has arrived. We'll note his presence. For the remainder of the work session consent agenda, I am pleased to report that the borough has received an additional award of $149,000 towards the repaving of Fifth Avenue, which will be added to the $150,000 that we currently have, for a total of $300,000 for the repaving of Fifth Avenue, which is in terrible condition. In addition to that, in this year's municipal budget, we have allocated additional funds. The exact amount that we allocated for Fifth Avenue, I can't tell you off the top of my head, but in addition to the $300,000, the borough is spending additional monies towards the repaving of Fifth Avenue. So we're going to make a big dent in totally repaving Fifth Avenue in 2014. In addition to the repaving, there's a section of Fifth Avenue that is going to get new curbs and sidewalks. So at the end of the project, it'll just look beautiful, and it will increase property values and be much safer, and hopefully I won't be getting emails from concerned residents that it's like driving on the outback. Tell it.
Good question. We had a conversation previously regarding sharrows
Yes.
on that stretch, and I just want to have some clarification about the installation, or for lack of a better word, of the sharrows along the entire length from Howland to Continental.
Maybe, that would be good for you to raise in your committee report on traffic and safety.
I will save it for that.
On the update on traffic counts for Continental Avenue, the Traffic and Safety Committee and members of this council have been working on proposed pedestrian improvements to Continental Avenue in the vicinity of Veterans Memorial Park. And in connection with that, the Chief of Police, at our request, has done a traffic count, and copies of the traffic count were distributed to all members of the council. To briefly summarize for the public, the traffic count shows that upwards of 7,000 cars per day travel Continental Avenue in both directions. It's approximately 3,500 cars a day each way. There's basically an equal number that are going eastbound, and an equal number that are going westbound. As everyone knows, Continental Avenue is a municipal-owned street with a posted traffic speed limit of 25 miles an hour. We are most concerned about pedestrians that cross Continental Avenue near the Volunteer Fire Service, between the American Legion and the Volunteer Ambulance Corps, to get into the park, because in addition to the vehicular traffic, there's a lot of pedestrian traffic there, so we would like to make it safer. The traffic count shows that 85% of the cars traveling are doing an average speed of 34 miles an hour. So that's almost 10 miles over the average speed limit. So that confirms my suspicion that there's a lot of cars traveling at a high rate of speed that need to be slowed down. One of the suggestions by our municipal engineer was to install what's called a speed table and a wider crosswalk with flashing pedestrian signs, and to narrow the roadway into lanes to slow down the traffic. So that was suggested. And then we're going to have a report at our 8 o'clock meeting from the Traffic and Safety Committee's review of the data and their ongoing recommendation. That's my report on the traffic count. On unfinished business, we have review of the historic element in the master plan. That is underway with Arthur Neese. Grove Street, I saw that the easement was prepared, and Mr. Sarla, could you tell us?
Sure. The property owner indicated that the last time we were here that he needed approval from his bank to place the easement on the property. The mortgage is allowed permission for him to sign the release, to sign the easement. The easement's been prepared. It's been turned over to the property owner. Hopefully he will timely execute it on his end. We can execute it and have it filed, open by next week.
Okay. The borough HVAC, that's an ongoing project. I don't have any further information on that. Right now, we could just keep it on unfinished business. The library roof and the HVAC, I think we're waiting for our consultant, Mr. Police, to provide us with some design plans for one element of it. I'm trying to remember if it's
Design for the
the HVAC or the clear story or something like that.
Clear story
fans.
Clear story
The soffit having the, whether it's covered or not covered.
So hopefully he's going to provide us with them in the near future. We could leave it on unfinished business for the time being. Finally, there's installation of improved lighting at crosswalks on Kinderkamak Road, one at Wayne Avenue and one at Reservoir. We reached out to our borough engineer, who has contacted PSE&G, and they've sent him an email that the lights should be installed within the next 2 weeks, I think. So we can also keep that on unfinished business. Is there any new business?
Can I add something to unfinished business, or
Yes.
maybe just get an answer tonight? As part of our Safe Routes to School application, which is now a multi-school application, I had occasion to see Superintendent of Schools last week, and she has not been requested to send a letter of support for that grant. I just wonder if we can follow up and make sure that that does get included in the application. I know when Marlene Casey was here to see us, she said that that would be included.
I just signed a bunch of letters.
No, Mayor, I thought we had sent out the letter of request and the resolution to both schools. We got information back, we got the questionnaire back from Riverdale and the resolution. I think we were following up on the local Board of Education. And the mayor tonight signed letters requesting letters of support from various residents. But we'll follow up with the River Edge School. I'm not sure why
It
she
could have
didn't
just
get
been
the
a
same
more-
information that we sent out at the same time to Riverdale.
It's just important now that we're including Newbridge Center and Cherry Hill in that application, that
Absolutely.
that letter be included in the grant. Thank you.
All right?
I have one thing to add also for
Unfinished business?
Yes. Just to follow up with 85 Spring Valley Road, the property that's been in dire need of rehabilitation. We had people come here a few months ago complaining about it. So I contacted Nicole. She said that now it is under the company Field Assets, Jackie Haas, H-A-A-S. They have a work order to install new siding. There's a new owner, Wells Fargo, and they're going to move forward with keeping on top of that property to rehabilitate it or make sure that the improvements get made.
Along those lines, there was recently new legislation passed that I forwarded, that was forwarded to me by Stephanie Evans from the League, and I forwarded it to our borough attorney. And the new legislation concerns its amendments to the mortgage foreclosure laws. And it provides procedures for uninhabited dwellings and their maintenance and responsibility when they're in the hands of banks. So Mr. Sarlo is going to provide us with a memo on the new legislation. We can provide that to our property code enforcement official, and he could follow the instructions that are given so that we could enforce the property maintenance code for properties that we may have in town that are in foreclosure.
And also I want to ask Alan about the P card.
Yes, P-card. As you know, I've been after the state to get back to us with a date. And today, we got a notice from them. We have scheduled the 22nd of this month to have our kickoff meeting. We sent out notices to various departments to join us. They're going to take us through a very extended process. They have told us it will take 60 to 90 days before these cards are issued. I understand, personally, we fill out an application, we send it in, we get a card in the mail, we pick up the phone and we call it, and we've got a credit card. Unfortunately, it doesn't work this way. I have all the information, you're welcome to see it, but that's where we're at right now.
I'm just happy you're not going to say 10 years.
No, 60 to 90 days, they tell me, is the process, and we're on our way on the 22nd.
I had one more thing.
I'd really like to go into the 8 o'clock meeting. If you have an extended discussion, we can always come back into the work session. But is there any other unfinished business at the moment? Any new business?
I do, but I can hold it until after, if you want to come back.
Can I have a motion, please, to adjourn the work session and to go into the 8 o'clock meeting? There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstained? All right, very good. We can begin the 8 o'clock meeting of the River Edge Mayor and Council by all standing for a moment of silent prayer or reflection. if we could send our wishes to Mr. Halabi, the owner of the, is it Blimpies? Blimpies in town, who suffered a terrible car accident and is presently, I believe, in Hackensack Hospital. Prayer for him and his family. And if we could have Councilwoman Bastide lead us in a salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice and to attend any meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law, the mayor and council have caused notice of this meeting to be published by having a date, time, and place posted in the lobby of the Borough Hall, and notices were sent out for a publication in the Record and the Ridgewood News. The mission of this governing body is to provide essential services through the establishment and implementation of public policy to safeguard our infrastructure and provide honest, courteous, and professional services to establish a sense of trust and accomplishment with our residents. We do this through research and prudent planning, seeking to minimize public risk while improving our infrastructure and municipal services. We are sensitive to the needs of our taxpayers while realizing that this governing body cannot be all things to all people due to revenue constraints that have been imposed by state mandates or our present economic conditions and prevailing attitudes about taxation. We're on the record both by video and audio, so if during the public portion of the meeting a member of the public would like to be heard, they need only identify themselves and they can make any statement or ask a question. We have 3 fire exits in council chambers, 2 to the front and 1 to the rear. Can I have a roll call, Madam Clerk?
Councilwoman Murphy?
Here.
Councilman Capola?
Here.
Councilwoman Bastide?
Here.
Councilman Mignon?
Here.
Councilman Alfredo?
Present.
Councilman Papaleo?
Here.
And on the record, to reflect Mayor Mascaratello and Thomas Serlo in attendance.
Thank you. Can I have a motion, please, to approve the minutes of the mayor and council for the regular meeting of May 5th, 2014?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstained? Tonight we have a proclamation for Emergency Medical Services Week. I see we have members of our ambulance service here. I'd like to call up Captain Sanders. She could come up. How are you? You do a great job. Okay, whereas emergency medical services is a vital public service, whereas members of emergency medical services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury, whereas emergency medical service systems consist of emergency physicians, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, firefighters, educators, administrators, and whereas members of emergency medical service teams, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training, continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. Whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of emergency medical services provided by designating Emergency Medical Service Week. Therefore, in the Borough of River Edge, we hereby proclaim May 18th to the 24th as Emergency Medical Services Week in River Edge, in recognition of all those, especially members of REVOS and our fire department, who engage in emergency medical services activities and encourage the community to observe this week with all the appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. And also, can't leave out our police department. Congratulations. Any members of the public want to join a great organization, Revest, they can find out more about the organization on their Facebook page.
Donna, can you turn around, please? Thank you. Thank you.
How are you? Good?
Good. How are you? I'm good.
All right, this is the time to open up the hearing to the public on any issue on the agenda, and then later on, we'll open it up again for any issue at all. Do I have a motion, please?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, does any member of the public have a particular question or make a comment on any issue that's on our agenda this evening? Yes?
Neil Carroll, 321 Wales Avenue. The resolutions, Mr. Mayor, we're going to update the intersection of Howland and Fifth, and it's going to go as far as Station 6 plus 80. And I was just curious where Station 6 plus 80 is.
That's a good question.
What resolution?
This is Resolution 14-222.
Correct.
Yeah.
Let's take a look.
Might be.
I think it's just shy of Wayne Avenue.
685 is going to be up by Continental.
No, 680, that means hundreds of feet. So actually, he's saying it's 680 feet from the intersection. This is engineer speak.
Plus 80?
It's six, yeah, when you're stationing, it's in hundreds of feet. So the 6 plus 80 means 680 feet from your start point. I'm talking engineering lingo. So from Howland north, 680 feet, that's the limits of the project.
680, I understand, was 6 plus 80.
Yes,
Okay.
that's how you would station a road project in it.
Because you and Vito are here. Somebody else knows.
I can't say where that exactly is, but that's what that would normally do.
We'd have to call in our engineer, pay him overtime, just to answer that question. Thank you. Thank you, Councilman. Anybody else have a question on tonight's agenda? All right, can I have a motion to close this portion of the meeting to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, appointments and personnel changes. Can I please have a motion to approve the salary increase of John Pampaloni, the sewer operator, from a step 1 to a step 2, effective May 19th, 2014?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? May I please have a motion to approve the hiring of Christine Mariotti, 58 Barber Road, Dumont, as a part-time clerk in the Department of Public Works at an hourly probationary rate of $15.74 with a 6-month probationary period. There's a motion by Councilwoman Murphy. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Can I have a motion to approve the appointment of Ethan Loke, 420 Fifth Avenue, to the Junior and Fire Auxiliary Squad, it says square here, I think it should be squad, of the River Edge Volunteer Fire Department.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All
They're
right.
here tonight.
Is Mr. Loke here? Okay, how about, there's another appointment for Han Chang?
Couldn't be here.
Couldn't be here? Okay. Let's do the rest of the appointments and personnel changes, and I'll do the swearing in of Mr. Loke. First, can I have a motion to approve the appointment of Han Chang, 230 Beach Drive, to the River Edge Volunteer Fire Department?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And can we please approve the hiring of Nora Tybus, 234 Wayne Avenue, as a school crossing guard at a rate of $16.81 an hour with a 6-month probationary period?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Can I please have a motion to approve the hiring of Magdalene Clacken, 57 Englewood Avenue, as a school crossing guard, an hourly rate of $16.81 with a 6-month probationary period.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? All right. Now, if we could have Mr. Loke step forward. You got it? There you go. Who's going to hold this? Dad? Stand over here, sir. Ethan? Right here. Place your right hand upon the Bible. Raise your left hand. No way. You do it? Raise your right hand. Raise your right hand. Put your left hand on the Bible. Raise your right hand. There you go. Please repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Ethan Look,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and
and
the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear
and that I will bear
true faith
true faith
and allegiance
allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the government
and to the government
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
And I state your name,
And I, Ethan Look,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
I will faithfully,
I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all of the duties
all of the duties
of a member of the River Edge Volunteer Fire Department,
of a member of the River Edge Volunteer Fire Department,
Junior Fire Auxiliary Squad,
Junior Fire Auxiliary Squad,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Does the chief have anything for you?
Mike, on behalf of the fire department, Ethan, I'd like to present this helmet to you. You're in good health, Godspeed, and we'll be watching out over you. And I'd just like to mention that Ethan is second-generation MOC firefighter. His father's been a firefighter now for how long?
15 years.
15 years, so welcome to the family.
Sign right here. And again, congratulations. Thank you.
Mike Carter, Dad.
All right, how are we doing here? All right. Correspondence. On your agenda, you'll see various correspondence, letters, and notices that the borough has received since its last meeting. All of this correspondence is available to be viewed and copied by the public by contacting Stephanie Evans, our municipal clerk. In addition to the correspondence, we have on file monthly reports from the Library Board for April, from the Historic Commission for April, and from the Beautification Committee for May. Tonight we have liaison reports. Every member of our governing body is a liaison to one or more service organizations or departments. We're going to begin the liaison reports with Council President Murphy, who sits as liaison to the Shade Tree Commission, the Library, the Environmental Protection Commission, the Green Team, the Technology Committee, and New Milford Oradell Shared Services. Kathleen.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll start with the quickest one first, for the environmental. October 11th, the Riverkeeper will be having a cleanup, and The time will be posted as soon as they let me know. So that's when our first river cleanup is going to happen. Shade Tree, they have been coordinating with Rob Costa's office about finishing the plantings for Howland Avenue. That is finished. Newbridge Landing is in progress, and Fifth Avenue repaving is in the planning stages. They've done 50 work orders so far this year, and currently they have 20 construction bonds, and things are working well with the contractors. They're having no issues. The library, tomorrow, they have a program called Techie Tuesdays, where young people help technologically challenged older people to help them figure out the computer, iPads, iPhones. That's ongoing from 10 till 5. They have a speaker tomorrow night from 7 to 8, which will be giving a lecture on the history of the Statue of Liberty. Thursday, May 22nd, the children's musician and entertainer Lou Gallo will be performing for ages 1 to 7. That's from 7 to 7:45. Memorial Day weekend, please support the Friends of the Library book sale. That will be going from Saturday, May 24th to Monday, May 26th, 10 to 4. I am very happy to announce that we will be having Field Station Dinosaurs for all ages coming on Friday, June 27th, 1 to 3, and it's sponsored by TD Bank, and that's a project I've been working on since last year. So TD has been kind and generous to sponsor Field Station Dinosaurs to come visit River Edge Library. July, we have Midsummer Night Dream and the Mayor's Wellness Yoga with Yvette Halligan in the next couple of weeks. We're also working on getting the new security doors put in. And for the Green Team, we have our recycling calendars being printed. Bicycle Safety Workshop to be held on Saturday, May 31st. And they will also be helping with the farmers market. And that's all I have for right now.
Could you give us a little update on the farmers market?
I was going to hold that for the comments, but I can do that now.
Okay. Councilman Capola, Recreation Commission, Senior Citizen Co-Liaison, Beautification, Special Events, Technology.
Thank you, Mayor. We're coming off the heels of the River Edge 5K. That was a smashing success, excellent, well attended. Senior Citizens, as I am the co-liaison, I was there this past Tuesday and spoke to them in length about what, and they were here earlier, as you know, about what they would like in their community/senior center, and a big, I guess, bone of contention or concern was that they have their own space, as they alluded to before when they were here earlier at the 7 o'clock meeting, space for their cooking apparatus or any kind of personal belongings that they wouldn't have to share with anybody. That was one of their big concerns, about having their own space that they could lock away and not have touched or tampered with. As they're having some problems with the center that they're in now concerning that item. Moving on to beautification. Beautification had another successful plant sale at the firehouse on May 3rd. And I'd just like to bring attention to the fact that all the people on beautification, they use their own cars, their own tools or an apparatus to make that sale happen. And it's a lot of hard work, and I didn't even realize until I got onto there the very physical labor that they put in for free, and all of the plantings and flowers that they put throughout the town in all different areas, like the town hall, the library. So they do an excellent job, and a lot of hard work is put into making the buildings, giving that an extra pop, or making things really just come alive, no pun intended. And the special events, we're having a meeting Wednesday, and we'll be gearing up for the Memorial Day and the July 3rd or July 4th festivities. And that meeting will be happening this Wednesday here at Borough Hall. And that's it for me, Mayor.
Thank you, thank you. Councilwoman Bastide, Liaison of the Senior to SCORE, Co-Liaison to the Historic Commission, Traffic and Safety, Special Events.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to echo some of the things Councilman Capola has said regarding SCORE, it was wonderful tonight to see them here come out and eager to take an active part in completing the community center survey. So I look forward to receiving stacks and stacks and stacks of those to review from that organization. I would just echo, as I said, there is a need for some additional storage at the temple for their paperwork. They are currently carrying around 4 and 5 bags of heavy paperwork back and forth every Monday and Tuesday. They're very happy with their location and they feel very welcome there, but they would like to see if they could get some additional space for their paperwork that could be locked. So perhaps that's something we can help them out with. Special Events Committee, one new thing this year is we're calling on, for July 4th parade, we're really looking for businesses and neighborhood groups to get involved and enter floats into the parade. We'd like to increase the amount of floats that are in the parade. We're going to have contests for most historic, best neighborhood block float, so please consider doing that if you are interested in that. Historic Commission, I have nothing new to report since Mr. Neese came to appear before us with the historic element last time. Traffic and Safety, we had our Traffic and Safety meeting last week. 2 members are in attendance tonight. Catherine O'Donnell and Neil Carroll are here with us tonight. We discussed many improvements that are going on, such as the improved lighting on Kinderkamak Reservoir and Wayne. And we also talked at length regarding the notion of a pedestrian improvement, traffic calming, speed calming improvement on Continental. We reviewed the traffic counts, which the mayor spoke about earlier. There is sufficient evidence at this point, in combination with the fact that we have a strong complete streets policy that the borough adopted in 2012, that we should take the next appropriate step and ask for Rob Costa, our borough engineer, to draw up more detailed plan for that improvement project, really showing where the crosswalk would be. I think we need a more detailed plan, and that would be a recommendation. And that's what I have. Oh, just remind everybody, this week is National Bike and Walk to School Week, so I would just remind everyone to try to do that once or twice. Thank you.
Thank you. I walked here today.
Very good.
I walked to work today. You have a different perspective when you're on the ground, certainly.
I neglected to talk about the Sharrows. Should I do that on Fifth Avenue, or do you want to save that?
You could bring that up and whenever you want to talk about it.
I'll bring it up when we go back under.
Okay. Councilman Mignon, liaison to the DPW Zoning Subcommittee, redevelopment, New Milford and Oradell Shared Services.
Thank you, Mayor. There were no zoning board meeting again this month for lack of agenda. Public Works, the crew, John and the crew are continuing doing all their spring cleanup at the parks, doing all the maintenance on catch basins, things that they don't be doing this time of year. We're looking forward to getting the bids in for our 2014 road improvement program, so we get some of these streets paved. We're going out to bid tonight on the Fifth Avenue paving, which will be welcomed by the residents. And I guess we're expecting our garbage bids to come in early June, Alan, and we'll see where we go with that. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Aquafreda, liaison to the Construction Code Official, Property Maintenance, Planning Subcommittee, Technology Committee, and the River Edge and Riverdale Schools.
Thank you, Mayor. I will start with the River Edge Elementary Schools. I attended a meeting on April 23rd, and the purpose, what came out of the meeting was a concern by the Board of Education that originated with a much higher than expected enrollment numbers for the kindergarten, for the incoming kindergarten grade, which resulted in, I'll use the word concerns, by individual board members that perhaps we were being subject of students not residing in River Edge and attempting to be registered or already registered within the elementary school system. So much so that the board voted to implement a re-registration this summer of all students attending the grammar schools. And their request to me, and Councilwoman Murphy was also present at that meeting, but the request was to see if Mayor and Council could do anything to tighten up alleged violations of single-family homes, perhaps being inhabited by more than one family, as well as apartments where more people allowed by code would be living in. I could not recognize in the ramification on such allegations. There really was no debate or conversation. I took the information and promised the school board that I would bring it out to mayor and council to see if what is that could be allowed under the law to be done to help in making sure that all the students that are registered or will be registering with the River Edge School Board are in fact lawful residents of River Edge. And I'm just going to leave it at that because it's a far-reaching argument, and of course the implications are that very quickly we will be running out of classroom space, and that will beget even more hard choices to be made. And it's the board chose to start discussing this issue early enough so that we could all have a good and decent approach, and we would not be reactive but rather proactive. So that is my informative report to Mayor and Council on that issue. The River Edge School Board has also initiated a community planning initiative. I've been asked to attend a meeting on June 3rd where the approach to the local school system now as well as for the future years to come will be discussed with the aid of a representative from the New Jersey School Board Association. This is actually the representative for the River Edge Riverdale district, and I know Mr. Nunziata from my recent past experience on that board. So I'm looking forward to attend that meeting as well. As far as the planning board, we did have a meeting last week. The Total Wine new signage application was memorialized. CVS came in front of the board, but for information only, because it was a combination work session, public, formal session, and CVS will be formally, the application was deemed complete. They'll be formally appearing in front of the planning board at the next meeting, not the June 5th. That one has already been canceled for lack of agenda. And they will be proposing the revised signage once Total Wine moves out of their present location and into the new premises. The existing Total Wine store will be occupied by CVS. There were no dates given at the work session, and we're looking forward to hearing that application in mid-June. I guess that would be the third Thursday in June. At the end of the meeting, as a result of comments by at least two board members about the new and improved, I'm saying that sarcastically, intersection of Bogart Road and Marginal Street, they were all wondering out loud, how could that be? And the answer is because it was approved as such in 2007, when that site plan came in front of that board, sitting at that time with a different attorney and different people, and that entire application for the New Bridge Landing development was approved. So what we see there, they're building exactly what was approved. There is, the concern is that, and Mr. Costa was at the meeting and he partook in the lively discussion that we had about it. It seems that the present planning board can't do much about that. It seems that, in fact, the most expedient way, pending legal verification, would be for the police department to declare that intersection a public safety issue. And then perhaps that could revive a site plan that had already been approved and see what kind of modifications could be made. I asked Mr. Costa to get in touch with Mr. Sarlo and discuss that at a higher level so that we would have also some sort of legal background. But it's clear that what we see what was approved, no more, no less.
We spoke briefly today, and we scheduled a block of time for Thursday to talk.
Good.
So I'll report back.
So in essence, that's my report for this week.
All right, thank you. Councilman Papaleo, liaison to the police department, the fire department and prevention, and the River Edge Alliance Against Alcohol and Drugs.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm pleased to report and celebrate our selfless volunteers in the fire department. They have answered approximately 110 calls through Sunday, May 18th. On Monday, May 12th, the River Edge Fire Department, along with the fire departments of New Milford, Ordell, Hackensack, and Paramus, operated at a minor basement fire on Lowers Terrace. The River Edge Ambulance Corps also responded, as well as the River Edge Police Department. The fire was caused by a defective dehumidifier in the basement. House sustained smoke damage. There were no injuries to the residents or members operating. The River Edge Fire Department, with the assistance of the River Edge Building Department office, has been conducting training sessions on acquired structures in town. They have conducted 3 such drills in the past 4 weeks. And I'd like to just point out our firefighters, this is all volunteer, and the drills that they do is additional time to getting up at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. Anytime a call comes in, they're there, and I'm very proud of them, and I know they're proud of themselves. I know the council is too. So 3 such drills in the past 4 weeks, with more to come. These training sessions on houses that are being demolished have been extremely beneficial, as the members are practicing search and rescue tactics, fire rescue tactics, and ventilation practices. The River Edge Fire Department assisted the River Edge Recreation Commission with the River Edge Run that was held on April 26th. Another time in which they give above and beyond. We are so grateful to them. On Saturday, May 24th, members of the River Edge Fire Department will place flags on the graves of all departed members who are located within Bergen County. This is an annual event held every Memorial Day weekend where the fire department honors their own members who have passed. On Memorial Day, the River Edge Fire Department will hold its annual memorial service at Fire Company 1. I know the council has been invited. I know that I believe all the council, or at least all the council that are capable of attending, will be there. We invite the public too. It will start at 10 a.m. All are welcome to attend this short ceremony. On Monday, June 2nd, the River Edge Fire Department will be presenting 2 Riverdale classes of 2014 graduates with scholarships, again going above and beyond. Our junior firefighters, Tyler Arnoth and Jonathan Caridi, will begin their Firefighter 1 training program in June at the Bergen County Fire Academy in Mahwah. This was submitted by the Chief. The Chief is here. Chief, could you just tell me, the council and the residents, Firefighter 1 training, how many hours is that our volunteers have to go through?
Junior firefighters Aaron North and Caridi will be up there starting June 16th from approximately 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. every day, except for July 4th, for approximately 6 to 7 weeks.
Wow. I think it's important, you know, being liaison, I find out just how far our volunteers go to protect and to serve the town, and I just think all of that needs to be applauded and recognized day in, day out. Chief, I thank you for that. Police Department. I meet monthly with the Chief of Police, met today actually. A couple of things that the Chief asked me to highlight. The Chief wanted me to say to the Council and to the public in general, to the residents, that he strongly commends our police force for their professionalism on a day-to-day basis. He wanted for the Council to know that the second annual Junior Police Academy between River Edge and Oradell is beginning. So this Riverdale Junior Police Academy Class 2 is currently for River Edge and Oradell students in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. It will be from June 23rd through June 27th. Its daily schedule is 8 to 12. A graduation ceremony will occur on Friday the 27th at 12 p.m. Parents will be encouraged to attend at that time. It will happen at Riverdale Middle School. It's limited to the first 50 applicants, so we hope that we have a waiting list. We hope that we have at least 50. And the deadline is May 30th. And contact for River Edge is Police Officer Mark Abate in the River Edge Police Department. Also, the Chief of the Police Department has wanted me to note that on April 26th, we did the prescription medication take-back, Operation Take-Back, and the Police Department collected 27.5 pounds of prescription medication that week, and we're glad that that is out of the medicine cabinets of our residents and that medication has been properly disposed of. Finally, the entire department has been conducting each week and controlled dangerous substance arrests and activities, and we want to thank our officers for safeguarding our homes. And finally, you just give me a moment while I bring up the last report. Here we go. The River Edge Alliance Against Drug and Alcohol, May 2014 report from Marie Papaleo. Spring has been busy for the Drug Alliance. Our major fundraiser was held on April 28th at the River Edge Run. The fundraiser is a River Edge Walk. The Drug Alliance sponsored the Health Walk, and over 130 residents and non-residents participated. The Alliance continues to support the Mayor's Wellness campaign and sponsored a yoga class for the community on May 18th. On May 31st, there is a third and final class, and on May 29th, there is a nutrition class that will take place at the River Edge Library. All these are funded through READ. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And I am pleased and honored to give you the River Edge Volunteer Ambulance Service report for the month of May. I'm the unofficial liaison to the Volunteer Ambulance Service. The River Edge Volunteer Ambulance Service is a private, non-profit organization, but they are a valued member of the community. The month of April was extremely busy for REVOS. They responded to 71 calls. On May 16th, REVOS attended and participated in a health fair at the Cherry Hill School, where members broke off into groups with students and explained the emergency response system as it applied in River Edge to between 160 and 180 students. Attending and called out for recognition were Carol Miller, Joan Schlossberg, Donna Serino, Sharon Courts, Joan Daly, Josh Lakorsky, and Greg Leon. On Sunday, May 18th, REVOS held an open house at the Ambulance Corps building. I could not attend because I was attending my daughter's graduation in Pennsylvania, but I hope that it went well. We all continue to support the activities of the River Edge Volunteer Ambulance Service. If any member of the public has any interest in joining such a worthwhile organization, They need only to obtain additional information or contact them through their Facebook page. That's my report for this evening on Rivas. In addition to that report, we have ordinances on for a first reading. Ordinance number 1809, which is a bond ordinance to authorize certain public improvements, which include a new vehicle for the fire department apparatus and equipment. Madam Clerk, could you read the title of ordinance number 1809?
Ordinance 1809, bond ordinance to amend Section 5 of the bond ordinance number 1763 entitled Bond Ordinance to authorize the making of various public improvements and the acquisition of a new automotive vehicle, including original apparatus and equipment in, by, and for the Borough of River Edge in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $845,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds.
All right, this ordinance is on tonight for first reading, which means that it will be discussed and voted upon. If it passes, it will be advertised in the newspaper for a public hearing. At the public hearing, which will occur at a later date, we will take comments from the public on this particular ordinance. Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance on first reading?
So moved.
There's a motion and there's a second from Councilwoman Bastide. Any further discussion on this bond ordinance? Can I have a roll call vote, please?
Councilwoman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Capola?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bastide?
Yes.
Councilman Mignon?
Yes.
Councilman Acofrida?
Yes.
Councilman Papaleo?
Yes.
All right, the ordinance passes on first reading. It'll be, again, advertised in the newspaper, scheduled for a public hearing, and then a final vote. Next, we have one ordinance on for a second reading, which is ordinance number 1808. Madam Clerk, can you read the title of ordinance number 1808?
An ordinance to amend ordinance number 1797 to fix the salary, wage, and compensation of the officers and employees of the Borough of River Edge in the County of Bergen and the State of New Jersey for the year 2014.
All right, this is simply an annual ordinance that the borough has to adopt pursuant to state law to adopt a salary schedule and a wage schedule for all municipal employees, and it's in a scale. It's available for the public should the public wish to read it. It has already been advertised in the newspaper, so it's on tonight for a public hearing. Any comments? Can I have a motion first from a member of the council to open the hearing to the public on ordinance number 1808? There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are now conducting a public hearing on ordinance number 1808. Would any member of the public would like to ask a question or make a comment regarding this ordinance? All right, seeing nobody, can I please have a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance number 1808?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that was unanimous. Can I please have a motion for the final adoption of ordinance number 1808?
So moved. Second.
There's a motion and a second for the final adoption. Any further discussion? Can I please have a roll call?
Councilwoman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Capola?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bastide?
Yes.
Councilman Mignon?
Yes.
Councilman Acofrida?
Yes.
Councilman Papaleo?
Yes. All right, that ordinance passes. Next, we have our resolution list, which is by consent. Alan?
Mayor, I would point out to the council that Resolution 14-230 on the farmer's market has a couple of blanks in it. I apologize, but we were unable to fill in those blanks, so if the council could amend that to include a couple dates and times, then that would be appropriate before considering it.
Okay.
I have those.
Let's begin with, do I first have a motion to table Resolution 231, which is the fence easement
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so that is off the consent agenda. Next, Alan raised the Mayor's Wellness Farmers Market resolution. And are there any motions to amend that? Councilwoman Murphy.
I'd like to add to the resolution, the Green Team. They will be also assisting with
All right.
the farmers market.
The first, whereas the Borough has established a Mayor's Wellness Program, do you want us to include Green Team in that whereas?
Yes.
Green Team. And then in the third whereas, it says, the Mayor's Wellness Program desires to increase access to healthy, local, affordable foods, encourage community building, support local agricultural and economic development. Do you want the Green Team to be mentioned?
Yes, please.
In that whereas?
Yep.
Okay. All right. And further down on number 2, where it's resolved, it says the farmers market is permitted to operate from
We're,
AM to PM. What times would you?
1 p.m. to 6 p.m.
1 p.m.? 1 p.m. to begin?
Well, actually 12 to set up, so 12 to 7, just to clean up.
12 p.m. to 6 p.m.?
7 p.m.
7 p.m.?
Well, they need time to clean up. They'll actually probably operate 1 to 6, so.
And we have to put in a dates here.
Start date's going to be June 12th.
June 12th until when?
We're anticipating maybe October. But
October. You got to give me got to put a date in here.
City day of the week also?
yeah, Thursdays.
Thursdays?
Yeah. October 9th.
All right, any other amendments?
That seems to be sufficient.
All right, so we have amendments adding the Green Team, amendments adding the times for the farmers market, and dates from June 12th to October the 9th.
Right.
Is there a second on those amendments?
Second.
There's a second on those amendments. Any further discussion? All in favor of the amendments to Resolution 14-230? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstained? All right, as amended, we will go back to the consent agenda. And I could ask if any member of the council has questions or would like to pull out for separate consideration any other resolution on the consent agenda. Ellen.
I would just ask that 14-222, that 6 plus 80 be spelled out in some type of layman's terms. Can we indicate 680 feet? Can we say that on the resolution?
Almost to Wayne Avenue.
I'm going to defer to
I think we should be
Councilman
clear as we can
Mignon,
be
who's the
for
engineer.
Ultimately,
a non-engineer.
Well, ultimately, I think the scope is going to depend on what the bids come in, so it may not be 6 plus 80, but that's
Close to
close
or
to.
something?
But I don't know if that's...
Okay, but if we have,
Yes.
my point is we should be clear to non-engineers reading the resolution what that means, because that was, I had circled that with the question because I didn't know what that meant, so I was glad to have the clarification.
How would you put that in layman's terms?
I don't have the plan, so I don't know where Station 680 is, but, you know...
Mayor, I would offer almost to
Almost
Wayne
to
Avenue.
Okay,
approximately,
that's fine.
I would say to up to approximately
Almost to
Avenue.
Wayne Avenue.
That would be,
Yes.
I think that's
At
better.
or near.
I don't know where you
Fine, we have a
At or near.
consensus.
At or near?
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
So is that in the form of an amendment to the resolution, at or near?
It is, thank you.
Is there a second on that amendment?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor of the amendment to Resolution 14-222 regarding the repaving of Fifth Avenue?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstained? All right. So we've amended 14-222, we've amended 230. Are there any other questions about the consent agenda? Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstained? All right, very good. We have the payment of bills, 14-232, which I will defer to the Finance Chair, Councilman Mignon.
Thank you, Mayor. Whereas vouchers for the payment of goods and services rendered to the Borough of River Edge have been received, and whereas each bill has been checked by the receiving department, approved by the Chief Financial Officer and Borough Clerk, and reviewed by the 3 members of the Finance Committee. Now therefore be it resolved that bills as listed now be confirmed for payment from the appropriate funds as follows. Current account, $255,879.73. Capital account, $1,490. Recreation account, $6,532.58. Animal welfare account, $10.80. Self-insurance account, $5,489.10. Trust other account, $544.45. Open space account, $7,806.77. Trust other developers account, $1,450.80. So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second for the payment of bills. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstained? Thank you. Can I please now have a motion to open the hearing to the public to address any and all issues affecting their interest?
So, make a motion. Second.
There's a motion and a second to open the hearing to the public. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Would any member of the public like to be heard on any issue? See a hand up here, Chief Caridi.
Mayor, members of the council, Chief Caridi, River Edge Fire Department. Just 2 quick items. On Saturday, I might have omitted it from my report to the Councilman Papaleo. About 15 members of the River Edge Fire Department participated in the Woodland Park 100th Anniversary Parade. We took 3 pieces of apparatus, our antique, that we always bring Santa around on, the ladder truck from Company 1, and Engine 2 from Company 2. We brought home 5 trophies. Second place honor guard. The ladder truck took 2nd place in its age category. Engine 2 won 1st place in its age category. Our antique won 1st place. And we also won 2nd place best appearing fire department overall. So we did a good job.
Great.
I'm very proud of them. Neil was at the parade, so it was just wanted to report on that. Also, just one thing to tag on to Councilman Aquafrida's comments regarding Marginal Road and Dover. I know those plans were approved back in '07, but I don't think it was so long ago. I don't think anybody realized what was going on. I first found out about it when I saw the little concrete island had disappeared. Never thought about it. And then next thing you know, somebody says you should go down there. There's 2 double yellow lines. Saw that. I questioned it. I was told it was part of the plans. And then I saw the new curving. My concern is now that we have several members of the fire department that access Station 2 coming down Boulder Road. So now they are no longer permitted to make a left-hand turn onto Marginal Road. Well, they can, but they're going to be doing it illegally. Now we can't do that. So we would typically access Company 2, especially during rush hour. We would try and avoid Kinderman Road. So I have some concerns about it. Now that traffic is either going to be dumping onto, my guys have to either go onto Rutgers or they have to go onto Lakeview Street. So I just wanted to let you know that I'm concerned about it, especially our response times to the firehouse. So if there's anything the council can do, or if you need me to put anything in writing, I'll be glad to do that. Thank you.
All right, Chief, we'll get a clarification in writing from Police Chief Caridi on the traffic on the pavement lines at that intersection of Bogert and Marginal Road. It's my understanding that the traffic pattern has not changed. You're still allowed to make a left-hand turn. I don't really think that you can enforce the double yellow line restriction when some private contractor puts a double yellow line down on the ground. But for everybody's benefit and to avoid a problem with the issuance of a ticket maybe from a county cop or or a sheriff's officer, or a state trooper, we'll get it in writing from the chief.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mr. Dunsey.
I'm Peter Dunsey, representing the River Edge Cultural Center. Cultural Center for the last 20 years has provided over 300 events for the town. And our main fundraiser is the car show. The car show will invite July 13th this year, Sunday, and it's considered to be one of the finest car shows in northern New Jersey. In
6 more.
In preparation for the show this year, we had requested over several years in the past that the car show be permitted to go into Memorial Park proper. And the request had been rejected numerous times because the concern for the grass. The car show committee decided that we would address it head on, and that if the grass was a concern, which is a concern to us too, that we would have the grass restored. So we went to the Rec Commission and we requested permission informally at the meeting before making an application. And the conversation centered on the grass. We offered, you know, the grass took a hit this winter, we'll reseed it now. We said, no, do it after the car show. Fine. We'll do it the day after the car show. No, there's camp. I said, when do you want to do it? They said, September would be a good time. I said, fine. We have set aside monies in our budget to see not just where the cars would be in the park, but the entire park, which would take away, well, the cars were here, the cars were there. We just do the whole park. And that way, the town would benefit by having it receive the park. The car show would benefit because, quite frankly, we would get greater attendance, it'd be a better show, and it is cooler in the park than it is on the roadway. We invited the River Edge Volunteer Fire Department to participate and serve food. And they would be total benefit. They're not providing any benefit to us other than they're providing food for the people that are there, but they're not giving us any money for it. It's a total 100% fundraiser for the volunteer fire department. They would do substantially better if people stayed at the car show longer. If it's a hot day, people come, they look, they leave. If they have a chance to go into the park, they'll come, they'll look, they'll stay, and they will probably buy food from the volunteer fire department. So they would benefit. So we felt it was a win-win-win, that the car show and the cultural center would do better, the volunteer fire department would do better, the rec commission would actually do better because they would have the benefit of having the entire park reseeded. I put in an application to find out that it was turned down with regard to our request to use the park for the car show, except that it was limited to that we could put 4 cars in there that would be dealer display cars. Well, that's not our intent to provide really a showroom just for the exclusive use of dealers who want to display their cars. It is, we have over 70 vehicles that register and come to the car show that are over the age of 50. is rather unique. It's an opportunity for people to see the culture that existed many years before they were born, and it is well respected. We're denying people the opportunity in some respects to do that because when we fill up, we're filled up. We can't take any more cars in. And we're asking for reconsideration by the Rec Commission of our request. We recognize that they are a commission. We respect that. But they also have certain obligations to the people in the town. And they led us to believe that by discussing having the grass replanted in September, that this long-standing matter between us was resolved, only to find out that it wasn't. I went to check the minutes of the meeting, and it was posted on the web, and I could see the January minutes, but I did not see the February minutes, nor the March minutes. The meeting I was at was at the March meeting. I inquired today, and indeed, the March and April minutes have yet to be posted, and I believe the February minutes as well. Those matters should be addressed. I would like some way to find a way to resolve this matter. Hopefully that we'd be able to use the park for everybody's benefit.
All right, questions?
I have a couple of questions, Mr. Dunsey. How many years has the car show been going on?
13. This would be our 13th year.
And how many attendees do you estimate that you get?
People that come in? We estimate the visitors that come to the car show about 1,500. And we get anywhere from 175 to 225 cars. Our max is 225 cars.
And how many cars were you hoping to put into the park?
Well, we were going to limit it by category and choice. If somebody chooses not to, we're not going to force them to go into the park. The maximum that we would have had would have been 70. We would take them in on the paved walkway, and then when they got near position, they would just maneuver and parallel park to the paved walkway off the walkway. When it was time to exit, they would come back onto the paved walkway. They would bring the walkway in the park that is arranged. All cars that come to the car show, regardless of where they are parked under the direction of our attendants who are very professional about it. And they do it expeditiously and safely, and they are in tight control of what they're doing. The same would prevail if they were parking a car in the street or if they were parking it in the park. The difference would be that at the end of the show this year, that there would be specific rules and guidelines worked out with the police department on the exiting of it. We're in absolute total control historically in the parking of the park. There's not been a need in the past to be concerned about when they leave, because people leave as they leave and they're on the roadway. This, we're prepared to, because we have the resources and the staff to address it.
You were allowed to have some cars in a few years ago. Did you have any problems when you had those cars in?
Those were display cars.
Did you have any problems with those when you did that?
Absolutely none.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Ed?
Did those display cars stay on the paved area, or were they on the grass area?
They were on the paved area in the previous, it was actually 2 years ago. Not last year.
Yeah, I remember there was an issue they were concerned about, maybe oil leaking or some kind of potential contamination.
There were substantial photographs, there were inspections before, there were inspections after, there was a bond posted, and we went through all of that for the few cars that showed up. And last year we passed on it because of all the energy that went into that. This year we recognized, the heat that we had last year, it just makes too much sense that we should go into the park and we'll address the issue. The issue has been grass.
Have they raised the same issue again, or is it different issues now? It's not about potential leaking of oil anymore. Now, and rightfully so, we don't want to have the park ripped up and then have either DPW or pay to have it restored, more than just reseeding. And, the only downside I see is if you had some rain beforehand and you have some soft areas, you don't want, gullies and having a more extensive restoration.
Absolutely.
But that could be a contingency I think you can plan for. So, to me, I don't know why it's not something you can just try, and if it doesn't work out, then you don't do it again.
If the ground is too soft, we go back to
Exactly,
all the
yeah.
time. That's our contingency plan. In regard to leakers, we will have mats that will go down they'll be staked out at each particular spot, so those vehicles can park over that. So if there is a leaker, it's going to leak on our receptor and not on the grass.
Did the commission give you a reason why they didn't?
No, except that it was a long-standing policy. And, I always say that the long-standing policies, if we all followed long-standing policies, we'd still be living in caves. So sometimes you have to take a step back and see what you're doing to make something better.
Peter, 2 years ago when you got your foot in the door, to use my expression, to use a portion of the park, even for the new vehicles, and you had to jump through all those hoops with the bond and the insurance and everything, I believe you represented that the cultural center was going to give a donation to the rec commission. Did you ever follow through with that?
We made the monetary donation, and this time we're making the donation in the way of the grant.
I know. I just wanted to confirm that you made a donation 2 years ago.
Yes.
Okay, now, if you recall, when you got your foot in the door, the liaison to the rec commission, who I think was Councilman Bartoloni, supported your proposal, and I supported your proposal, and we went to the rec commission with you and helped persuade the rec commission to allow you that limited use of the park. That's my historical perspective.
You're correct, and we appreciate it.
Now, last year, you gave up the idea completely, so you didn't use the park, and you kind of slammed the door, because now you're back to square one again, where the rec commission doesn't want to give you any access to the park if it involves having vehicles off the path. So, I think if council wants to support you in this endeavor, the rec liaison is here. I certainly support your proposal. I don't think it's a good idea in my personal opinion, the car should be on the path for the entire event. They shouldn't leave the macadam. I know you want them to get to their spot and then get off the macadam so that you can have traffic on the macadam so that cars can leave at different times. I don't support that. I couldn't support that, because that defeats the whole purpose of taking the cars off the path. If you want to only allow cars in the path, cars in the park that remain on the path until a set time, whatever time you impose, 4 p.m. or 3 p.m. or 2 p.m., and then they can leave in single file, I think that I could get behind that. I don't speak for the rest of the council. I like all the service organizations in town to play well in the sandbox together, and they don't always play well in the sandbox together. So I'll do what I can to help foster that it is a successful event this year. But last year you had 2 years ago you had your foot in the door and it went off without a hitch. There wasn't one blade of grass that was damaged, and I think last year you could have, if you kept the momentum going, you wouldn't be in this situation. Anybody have any comments? Kathleen?
Just want to remind everybody, and especially the Rec Commission, 4th of July, there are trucks, generators, vendors, everybody driving all over the grass on that day, and there has been no issue with big trucks going all over the place, so I don't understand why.
On River Edge Day, there's vehicles in the park.
And also, Mayor, correct me if I'm wrong, I think last year you had approached us also, it wasn't at the council meeting, that you had also requested whether you were able to use part of Elm. I think you wanted to use another section of Elm Street between the library or Tenney and Continental. The police department didn't want you to do that. So if we're not willing to give you more street space and we don't want to give you park space, you know, I think this has become a very well-respected show for the town. I think it's something that adds prestige to the town. It's something that people look forward to. It's a positive image we want to present. So, you know, I think if it's not the park, it should be the street. We should be working with you to give you more area to make this show more successful. So, whatever the council's consensus is, I'll support that.
Just, you know, we've invested in an FM radio transmitter to take care of sound rather than have a sound system blasting, because you can't control the sound once it leaves. We wanted to put in FM speakers that would be directed away from the neighboring homes and to the areas where the public would be. And we're always thinking out of the box a little bit of doing something to improve. And this is just another example of that. The reason we wanted to go to Elm is because we didn't want the bad feeling. So we didn't go with the park last year. We thought we might go with that. That couldn't be, so now, yes, we're going back to that.
And what are the hours of the show?
For the public, it's 9 to 2:30. The cars, we open them at 8:30, and the vast majority of them are parked by 9 o'clock. You know, depends what time people show up for that.
I don't really have a concern about any of these vehicles leaking anything, because I've judged the show for 2 years, and these cars are immaculate. They're better maintained than your family car would ever be. They're just in pristine condition. So I don't really see that as a concern. Kathleen.
Tom had his hand up.
Tom.
Mr. Gunsay, have you contacted Director Bobby Conway, and asked her why your request was denied? Have you spoken to her?
It wasn't so much denied as modified. She sent the letter, which was forwarded with the application that came back to me from the police as one, because the police will only respond to that which the rec commission first reviewed. And in the letter, she said that in long-standing policy that they would permit the display vehicles to be in the park, the dealer vehicles to be in the park, and that was it.
But did you contact her after receiving that communication?
No, not since then.
Okay. I agree with what I think the mayor and Councilman Mignon and Councilwoman Murphy is saying. I would hope that the rec commission would reconsider that. I would hope that you would go to their next meeting to ask them to reconsider that. I think that the mayor's suggestion of them staying on the macadam might be a good compromise. But I would support you returning to the rec commission, and I hope that they would reconsider.
I would tell you in a heartbeat, if they agreed that we would park on the macadam, we'd make that adjustment. It's not a big deal.
You make that adjustment, and if one car gets off the path, then
right.
that's going to be it.
Right.
That's going to be it. But if you organize it correctly and only let certain vehicles in a park who are going to stay until 2:30, and then single file in and single file out, I don't see it as a big. It's going to be beautiful. Other than if I was one of the owners of these pristine vehicles, I'd be worried about the bird droppings because I'm in the park.
And that's where we give people the choice.
Just like to add one final thing, I would hope that the rec commission would just really reconsider it along with everybody else, because it is beneficial for our town. The fire department will benefit, it'll be reseated. And like I said, the 4th of July and other events that are there, it's like two different standards. You're being held to a higher standard, and then everybody else can drive all over the place with no regard. So, I would hope that they would reconsider.
I will make it a point to attend the next meeting of the Rec Commission, and I will offer the suggestion as to vehicles being on the macadam, which they've gone down part of the way, except that they're limited to display vehicles and not to regular vehicles. And I've taken a lot of time. I really don't want to take any more of your time. I appreciate the support, and we'll follow up and let you know how we do.
All right, thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
Okay, any other member of the public? Donna?
Donna Sanders, 674 Millbrook Road, River Edge, New Jersey, also passing at the River Edge Ambulance Corps. I was listening to you talk before about Continental Avenue changes. Am I correct in saying that it's for the safety of the pedestrians, and that's the reason why you want to make the changes? If there's going to be crosswalks and stuff? Is that...
There are 3 or 4 different issues. One is for the safety of the pedestrians and for the safety of bicycle traffic. The other is that that the Rivas driveway and the path from the park come together at the sidewalk, and there's a common apron. That's a conflict right there, where the pedestrians could walk right into the path of a rig that's leaving or coming in. So if we put in this crosswalk, it would separate that so that you wouldn't have that conflict anymore.
Okay,
The crosswalk would be at would be at some distance, trying to get my west. Some distance west of that, maybe 50 feet, 75 feet, I don't know. Some distance west, so that you wouldn't have that conflict anymore. And then the path from the park would join where the crosswalk would be situated.
Okay, so I'm just trying to understand it, because this is the first I'm really hearing of it. So if we exit our driveway with the ambulance, okay, and we have to make a right-hand turn, are we going to be going out into oncoming traffic because of this change you're making there, or are we going to be able to make a right and still be on the right side of the road?
Oh, no, you're going to, the crosswalk is going to have two-way traffic. Instead of the lanes now being, I don't know, whatever they are, 16 or 18 feet wide, where the crosswalk is, there's going to be a curb, there would be a curb bump out, so that the lanes would be narrower, maybe 14 feet or 12 feet or whatever.
So then we're going to have to get past this curb bump out, is what I'm asking. And that would mean we would be turning into oncoming traffic? I mean,
No. You'd never pass the center line.
Okay.
Yes.
Can I say something?
Sure.
I'm glad you're here so that we can hear your comments. The point that we're at with this project, which is not a in-stone project yet, is to take it to the next level, which is to get more of a detailed plan prepared, including comment from those that would be affected by this change before we move forward. We're not moving forward at this point. We're at the point where we're collecting information, and I would like to, at the appropriate time, recommend that we move forward and get more of a detailed plan so that we can take into accommodation all of these concerns that you're raising, and I'm sure that there are others.
Just like with any other plan that affects traffic, we always make sure that that we do turning radiuses to accommodate fire equipment, fire trucks, the ambulance rig. It would all have to be engineered so that there's proper turning radiuses.
That was just my concern. I just wanted to clarify that because I really didn't know too much about it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? See a hand up in the back, and then Miss O'Donnell. Yes.
Hi, good evening. My name is Mary Lou Blanchett, and I'm on 99 Lakeview Street.
Mary Lou, can you come forward here?
I've lived in River Edge for the past 17 years. I feel proud when I say I live in River Edge. I take pride in my community and volunteer wherever I can to maintain the connection I have to this town. Since September of 2013, I have noticed an increased number of cars parked on Lakeview and Reservoir. These cars seem to appear between 10:30 and 12:30 at night, disappearing by 9:30 in the morning. I am 3 houses in from the corner. There are some nights that these cars are parked at least 4 houses down the block. So not quite in the middle of Lakeview, but very much into the block. Not all of these cars are New Jersey license plate cars. There are at least 3 or 4 cars that have New York license plates that have been parking there for at a minimum of 6 months that I've noticed them. And I've started taking pictures. These cars that are typically parked on Lakeview are not there Tuesday through are only there Tuesday through Friday morning. Friday night, you can find parking anywhere you want. Saturday night, Sunday night, it starts again Monday night. I can no longer park my Yukon truck in my driveway with my Jeep next to it. I can't pull out. The car that's parked on the street in front of me, the street's not big enough. The cars are literally on top of my driveway. As I said before, they typically come parking late at night, slamming their doors, and walk towards the apartments. Cars on Reservoir Street sometimes are parked as far as Dobrinsky. The strip between Bogart and Lakeview has become the most difficult street to maneuver and is an accident waiting to happen. When you exit Lakeview to drive to Bogart, so you're making that left, the cars are parked on both sides of the street. If a car is coming down Bogart, if a car is coming down Bogart and you're looking and you make that left, that right, there is nowhere for your car to move because the cars are literally parked right on top of each other. The past winter we've had, we all know, has been a nightmare. Between the snow and the cars, it was a mess. I have pictures. I don't have pictures, unfortunately, of the snow, but I do have pictures of how the cars are lined up, where you can see, especially if there is a Jeep parked right at the corner, it's very difficult to make that turn. In the morning, I have 3 children, especially in the morning when you're walking up to school, it's very, very difficult. I'm afraid somebody's going to get hit there. Nobody can see you if they're going down Bogart, from Bogart down Reservoir. As concerning as this problem is now, I can't imagine what will take place when the approved housing on Kinderkamak is built and sold and the dominic effect begins. Parking will not be enough in that construction. Cars from those housing will then park on Reservoir between Bogart and Kinderkamak. And then those people that are parking there now will be forced to park down further towards my end. I asked council to please take a look at this. I do have pictures, as I said before. It was difficult. The pictures that I took at night was very difficult to come out when I printed. So these are some of the ones that...
Do you think this has anything to do with the school?
I do. I'm very involved. I'm, in fact, the Cherry Hill School PTO president. I'm in that school 24/7. I've been in that school for at least 8 or 9 years now. We're at capacity. It's very close to being there.
You're alluding to kids that are not from
Yes.
this neighborhood.
I mean, I just find it very odd that these cars are nowhere to be found. I mean, I went searching for some of these cars. That's how That's how much of this is taken on in my life, and they're nowhere to be found.
I mean, could it be construction workers that
No.
are working at the Wine project?
We had the house across the street was under construction. In fact, two of them were. And they were all local, and they were coming in at, 9:30, 10 o'clock. The house that's on a reservoir that's currently being constructed, again, I mean, I've been watching this, and it's nothing having to do with the construction projects, no.
Interesting. And you say you have a lot of vehicles with out-of-state plates, New York
Yeah,
plates?
there's pictures of 3 or 4 of them taken at various times.
That street is really hard to navigate going down there. If 2 cars are coming in opposite directions, there's nowhere for you to pull over.
And then, of course, children are crossing, and that's the problem. And sometimes, kids are crossing between cars because they're kids. They're not. Some of them are walking without an adult. It's really scary. It's very, very scary. And I mean, we've been having bad winters. There's been a lot of snow, and I understand that, but
Mary Lou, can I ask, the superintendent, has she instituted some sort of registration check? And is she doing this in an active way?
it has not started yet. I believe it will be starting this summer.
So she's
over
not
the
done
summer.
anything for the last couple of years, or?
We had re-registration, I believe, 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
I'm not 100%.
Has the PTO supported a move for re-registration every
We have.
year? And has the superintendent accepted that?
I think that they've looked into it. It's been under investigation, but I think that the past year, the urgency has really blown up.
Is there anything to look into with the zoning laws? Like
Zoning?
if like a single-family homeowner is there and they sell, to see how many families are living in a single-family home, or the apartments.
Unless we get a specific complaint,
But other towns have some kind of zoning.
Yeah, other towns get, you get specific complaints.
There's
If
also-
there's a single-family house and there's 2 or 3 mailboxes or 2 or 3 doorbells, then you know something's up. Then you know there may be a zoning violation with an illegal apartment in a basement or an
Isn't there
attic.
a zoning law
But
that can be
you
enacted?
just can't go and
No,
bang
you
on
can't.
everybody's door.
Every time there's a sale of a property, isn't there some kind of zoning law that requires who...
Everybody has to get a CO.
Right, but just say, make sure you don't have 4 families in one house. What is that zoning law?
No, typically you'd have to get a...
Yeah, whatever you're talking about
You
there.
have to get a CO, but that's not necessarily going to catch people living there illegally. If they sold the house, they may move out, and after you get the CO, they come back in. You're not going to be able to know, like Mary said, unless there's a complaint, and someone's seeing people going through and, going through the garage door or the back door or something like that, where you got, the feeling there might be an illegal apartment. But that's the only way to get those
It's a
things.
very common problem that's going on in municipalities, and it impacts the schools somewhat, and it's a twofold problem. Number one is the schools are a little bit in a tougher situation because if a child just proves residency, so all they need to prove is that they're living with their uncle in River Edge, they'll be able to go to their school. So they don't even need to prove that they're living just an extended family, which is so hard.
You don't have to say that the uncle's the guardian, and therefore the
Not
child
really,
can...
no.
Really?
No. So you have to give them, so that's problem number one. Number two is, I'll take a look at if you have an illegal housing ordinance. I'm not certain. I'll take a look at it. We just strengthened ours up. We tightened it up, very significant, very serious fines. A couple things is, one, you need probable cause. You would have to, multiple mailboxes, multiple PSE&G. If the police went to a domestic violence call, if the ambulance went there and they noticed the kitchen in the bedroom, or they're pulling somebody out of the basement, and obviously there's a report that can be made. The zoning officer then can get an administrative search warrant and can go knock on the door. It's usually done very early in the morning to catch the people sleeping there, living there. And then from there, you have to, from there you can then issue the summons to remove that. Now, the other problem is that if it is such a fire hazard, if you go in there You have to go in there, the zoning officer goes in there with the fire department. If it is such a fire hazard, now the town now has a responsibility of taking that tenant and putting them up somewhere unless they can find alternate arrangements. You can't keep them there in a fire hazard. Obviously, the apartment's there and it's not a fire hazard, and it's okay, then there's not a situation. You give them 2 weeks or whatever to move out. So there's a couple things there, but to catch the people is a lot harder. Either people will send an email, and you'll get those anonymous emails saying, hey, look, the anonymous email is not the best, but it can start the investigation. The school working in conjunction with the school, and the school saying, hey, look, we have somebody we don't think, or there's a New York car that's constantly dropping somebody off in front of the school. I don't know if the schools have, for lack of a better word, an investigative officer or so forth.
We've looked into, I know that there's been where they're looking into that, from what I...
You know, we caught some people, we have a retired police officer that works certain hours and follows up on things. So there are things you certainly can do.
They are at a crisis point at that school in the past few meetings that Vito and I were at, and before that, how the school is just like bursting at the seams, the younger grades, like first grade to kindergarten, third grade.
Third grade currently has, my son's class has 98 children. The current fifth grade class has just the same. The graduating sixth grade class has 80. The incoming kindergarten class, from a Cherry Hill perspective, I've been told that it's close to 100. That will be the Cherry Hill students, and Newbury Center is now mixed with Roosevelt and Cherry Hill students. The Cherry Hill portion of it makes up very close to 100. That's currently as of April. Remember, many people move in and out of towns over the summer, so there is a very good probability that we will be getting more children.
The apartments are the hard thing, because we have a lot of apartments too, is you could rent out an apartment, but you can have 7 or 8 extended family members there.
Is there a maximum amount of people per apartment?
Not that I'm aware of, and
There is.
There's no thing that you can have, you know, if somebody's sleeping on the couch or putting a mattress down. I don't believe there's...
But I believe if you have like a
people in there.
2-bedroom, or how many square footage, you're only allowed to have like 6 people in it. I believe there is a law.
No, there's no such law.
But it's easy to find out. Once they get their survey, and they'll know if they're getting 40% of the children are coming out of the apartments, then you know that's where your problem is. Because you know there's very few 2-family houses in town. I don't think there's a lot of illegal apartments, so the only other option would be the apartments themselves. So they'll know. If the school does this, they'll see where the kids are registered, and if it's coming from that part of town, that gives them the impetus to go look for other things. But you have to get the first things first and let them do their survey and see where the population lies.
You know, if they could show proof that they have a lease and it's the same last name, or there's a notarized letter, you know, from the uncle saying, yes, he lives with me. It's very hard to it's not as easy.
The subject of congestion in the parking, can we ask Chief Caridi to do some enforcement checks down there to make sure that people are not parking illegally? Because it looks like you've described some hanging off the curbs, some parking too close together. I mean, but if there's more of a presence to show enforcement that may help the problem. Well, that's not going to handle the non-resident parking. And then so if we could ask the chief to do that. My other question is...
I'm sorry, that curb that's in the picture, there is a car that notoriously parks there. The police ticket it, I swear, once a week. They still park there. And it's a New York license plate.
My second question is residency stickers. Is there something to municipalities issuing residency stickers?
We've had this topic time and time again, and I would ask the chief police to weigh in on that before we start discussing it.
I don't think it's allowed it's allowed in a parking lot, a municipal-owned parking lot, to have a permit sticker on a public street, to have a parking for residents only. Towns do it.
How do the beach towns get away with it?
I mean, Cliffside and Palisades
How do all
Park do
those
it.
beach towns have stickers in the windows?
Doesn't mean it's
I think it was.
Doesn't mean it's enforceable.
Can we ask Tom to look into the
I'll
zoning?
look into, I know a lot of, well, look into what part?
Well, like you said, you just beefed up the zoning.
We just don't want to make it so that the fix is worse than the problem. If we designate Lakeview as, 2-hour parking, then...
I understand that.
The residents could wind up getting tickets.
Right, right. I
So-
understand that, but at the same time, there needs to be some solution to this problem because it just gets worse. It just gets, and it's frustrating from the other hat I wear because I do know what's going on in school. And it's frustrating because, like I said, these cars are not to be found over the weekend. Why is that the case?
Well, let me ask you
Could
this.
it be, sorry, I'll call you for a second. Could it be commuters that park their car and then walk to the bus stop?
I've never seen anyone, no.
No?
I haven't followed anybody yet.
All right,
I haven't
okay,
gone
all right.
that, down that road.
Especially with New York plates, I mean, why would you park?
You know, I typically, I have been, my family thinks I'm crazy. I'm out, the night that it was storming, I was out with an umbrella in my PJs, and I'm watching these people, and they are walking to the apartments. That's where they're walking. But my question is, if you do indeed live in the apartments, then what do you do with yourself over the weekend? Why are you not there over the weekend? Because the 3 New York license plates are, I only see those cars during the week.
Okay. All right.
Mayor?
Yes.
Mary Lou, I'm curious. Do you have a sense of what the other residents are looking for? For instance, are they looking for some sort of parking limitation, like those of us who live off of Kinkamak, where there's no parking between so-and-so? Are they looking for something like alternate side of the street parking? Are they looking for the residency? That's not going to fly, because I live on Manning between Bogart and Kinkamak, and I already know that that's not going to go anywhere. But, is there a remedy that the residents would consider reasonable? And towards that discussion, if you haven't had it with the residents, maybe we need to host a community, some sort of community event. And the reason let me rephrase that. The reason I mentioned alternate side street parking because it would seem from your photographs that if you have parking on both sides, to the degree that you have it on both sides, that you've now turned those roads into a single lane road. Is that correct? Can 2 cars pass each other when there is parking to that degree on both sides?
It's very difficult. It's difficult. It is easier in the warmer months. It's more difficult in the colder months.
Because the snow
yes.
shrinks the street.
Yes.
Okay. So I think that's part, at least as a council member, for me, I would like to know, have the residents had this discussion, and what remedy would they consider to be reasonable before we try to figure out how to solve your problem? Because your request is a great request, but it's very open-ended right now.
Right.
And, if you want us to consider something, we would need for that to be narrowed a little bit.
I'll be more than happy to speak to the residents, and we can come back and further discuss.
For instance, if you choose to have kind of like a block event where you invite the residents, I would be glad to come and be a part of that. If it happened at your house, it would have to be happen at one of the homes in the area, to figure out what sort of remedy the residents would like, and then we would, as a council, ask our chief of police. We'd have to ask, all of our, those to weigh in.
Very good. Okay.
All right, thank you. Someone had their hand up in the back? Yes.
Zero cheeseburger at the 162 Vanderson Drive, so I am totally aware of the issue on Reservoir. So I have a comment and a question. First, the comment is that all of the ranch houses in my area are becoming a two-story, and I guess it's a benefit for the community that a lot of young families, like my family, moved in 4 years ago, And we have maybe 5 other young families that have children, and they're having a lot of children. So a lot of the issues could be the community was used to these, single-family ranches that elderly people live there. Now they can, of course, live there. And now they're building these, little, whatever, double houses, whatever they call them, little mega mansions, whatever they're calling them. And we're living in them, and we're having lots of children. So that's probably one of the problems that the community maybe, or the school system hasn't made an adjustment to say, these houses are going up, and these new families are coming in, and they're coming in. If they had a 2-bedroom single ranch, now they're 5 bedrooms. And people that are moving in have multiple children. So that's probably one of the reasons. Not just that, people are coming in illegally and are living in apartments with a lot of children. So I'm not saying that that's not happening, but it's also the other side of it.
I'd like to say something to you. I do know that the house across the street from me is now a McMansion, but the previous owner raised 3 children there. I disagree with you. I don't think that there's more children moving in, so that even the homes that have the 5 bedrooms don't have 5 children in that house. The one family that I know from Chariot Hill who did have 6 children has moved out. I don't know, and again, I organize many parties for the school. I'm very on top of all the number of children in each family. For profit reasons, and most of the families have 1 to 2 children. Seldom is there a significant number who have 2 or higher. So I disagree with it that it's that factor.
Okay, so we can disagree with that, but I know in my neighborhood, we have 5 new families, and they all have multiple children, all like 5 through, but are they in the school system already, or are they? They're in the school system, they're going into the school system. So it could be both, but I'm saying that's one aspect of it that I haven't heard anybody talk about. The other question I have, Mayor, is where Total Wine is, in the back area, I see that there's an opening. And I don't know if that's going to be open for traffic, or if that's just for Total Wine.
Unloading the trucks.
For unloading trucks. But that could be a way to kind of, and I don't know, that was my question, because I know that it's gated right now.
Right.
It seems like there's an opening to Bogert from that area. So that could be
To Bogert? It is on Bogert. That's the service driveway. That's it's a back exit.
Right.
It's going to be used, it's designed for 2-way traffic. So cars would be able to pull in off of Bogert and shop. The trucks that are making deliveries to those stores will exclusively use that driveway. They won't come in from the front. They'll only come in from the back, because that's where all of the loading docks are back in that section. And if a shopper wants to exit onto Bogert, they'll be able to exit onto Bogert. And, I think either Chief Caridi or another fire official I was speaking to said that, in an emergency, it could be used as if that intersection is all blocked off because the traffic conditions are going to be nuts. In an emergency, a first responder could use that as a cut-through to get to the firehouse.
Sorry, just one other thing. I would like to ask our attorney, Tom Sarlo, if he could
But before you ask your question, I saw Miss O'Donnell had her hand up a long time ago, and I neglected to call on her.
Kathy O'Donnell, 180 Continental Avenue, ambulance corps member and longtime member of Traffic and Safety. First of all, Traffic and Safety was never brought those plans for Total Wine. We never had a meeting about it. We never had any discussion at all, ever. And I've been on the committee since 2003. I really think we should have been included. I was in the ambulance within the last week or so with, actually, Eric, who left before, and making that turn in the rig is really difficult down on the road. I can only imagine, there's no way fire truck. Now, you said you took into account, you know, the radius, the turn radius is, there's no way that you can come off from Route 4 and make that turn and not be in the other lane. And Lakeview already being a problem parking, that's what's going to happen. People can't turn on Bogart, they're going to go to Lakeview. So I really think that, you know, it really should have been considered with traffic and safety, and, you know, it should have been brought to us before the curfew started. I mean, my first notice that anything was going on was, I picked my sister up at the train and the island's gone. I'm like, oh, what happened there? So it really wasn't advertised, wasn't, you know, discussed, and, you know, I mean, I just feel like, you know, people know for years I've been on traffic and safety, they call me, they tell me things, and nobody's complained about this yet.
How long have you been on traffic and safety?
2003.
Well, the plans were approved in 2007, and I didn't get onto traffic and safety until 2012. So I can't speak for what happened in 2007 when the plans were approved. But the plans were...
Nobody up there was here when I was appointed.
But
So you know.
the plans were approved, as my understanding is, with a turning radius so that a tractor trailer could make that turn and get into the driveway. We'll see. Neil, Mr. Carroll.
Neil Carroll, 321 Rails Avenue. Mr. Mayor, you just said it was going to be a two-way driveway, and the tractor trailer delivery trucks coming down Kinnickinnick Road from this direction, let's say they come from Rockland County, they're going to make a right-hand turn on Howland Avenue, go up the hill, and travel down Bogart Road is the only way. They're not going to come up Reservoir, they're going to take the advantage, and that's going to be your traffic. Howland Avenue will be your next bump-out street, because there is no way those tractor trailers are going to get around that curve. No way.
All right, if it's a problem, we're going to have to go back to the county, get them to fix it.
Mr. Mayor, it's not the county, it's the state of New Jersey.
State of New Jersey,
DOT, I will
right.
be there at 11:30 tomorrow on
Okay.
Route 80.
All right.
Over that same bump out. It's not proper.
Is there
No way did they ever approve that. No way.
what's happening in Route 80 at 8:30 in the
I
morning?
will be at DOT at lunchtime tomorrow, on my lunch hour.
Text me the location. Yes.
Donna Sanders, System Local Road, Woodbridge, New Jersey. I just want to say that I come off of Route 4 every day because I work at the towers in Hackensack, and I have to make that turn on Bogart. There's no way a fire truck or a tractor trailer can make that turn. There's no way. I can barely make the turn in one because they have the cone out in the street also. So there's no way a tractor trailer or a fire truck can make that turn.
I have to agree.
It's oncoming traffic.
I think
Mayor, I have to
I
agree,
think the
too.
plan shows some kind of an island there, too.
You're going to have a head-on collision there, definitely.
Yeah, I have to agree with all the comments that have been made. I can't make that turn in my own car now, and at night, it's going to be doubly difficult.
It'll be super hard.
And, you know, whether the plans were approved or not in 2006 or 2007, we have some serious safety concerns that are being raised. And I think we're going to have to take steps to take corrective action if that's what we deem is necessary to protect the residents and the shoppers in the new development.
I agree too, because I come home every day and I have to make that right turn at about 5:30. It's tough, and I can't see a tractor trailer, certainly not a 45-footer. Yeah, I know, you can go up to 53, but I don't think a 45-footer could make it.
Well, maybe we'll have to have a demonstration. Yes, ma'am.
We went on our class trip today to Ellis Island. We were on the school bus. We had a very hard time making that turn to go down to school today. In fact, we were on the other lane to get back into ours. So it's the school bus, which is, Mr. Caridi, is it, the school bus is smaller than a fire truck?
Costa was out of it.
About the same size.
No, he claims he was not.
You'll have a head-on collision there, and then we'll do something about it. Something's going to happen.
I looked at it, and it went like this.
They haven't moved the catch basins yet, so if you act fast, you can probably save some money, because you're going to move them, and then move them back.
You know, that involves a stop work order, no grand opening.
Whatever it takes.
Getting my name in the paper as a bad guy.
Or head-on collision, which is better though?
Could you tell me where in the state law that it says that a contractor can put yellow lines, double yellow lines down one of the municipal streets onto a state highway?
I don't know.
It's
but-
usually done by the state or the county or the municipality.
All right, well,
Joe?
I will talk to Mr. Costa about this first thing tomorrow.
And Mayor, sorry, I'd just like to ask our attorney to look into the code enforcement for how he strengthened in Little Ferry, the same type of thing. If you could come back to the next meeting with
I'll give you some
suggestions.
ideas.
Code enforcement on what issue?
Occupancy.
Occupancy.
Legal occupancy?
Yes,
I'll give you some ideas.
thank you.
All right, anybody else wish to be heard? Can I have a motion to close this portion of the hearing to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, closing comments, I think we're up to. Councilwoman Murphy.
Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. Congratulations to the River Edge Volunteer Ambulance Service on their service to the town. Thank you for coming. Again, to Mr. Nadim Halabi, I hope that he recovers and feels better. He is in the hospital, and it's going to be a long road. To River Edge Education Foundation, REAP. Saturday, they had a Harlem Wizards game at the high school. They sold 700 tickets. I played. I think I slammed 2 guys. It was a great game, great success. Congratulations. Memorial Day Parade, we are getting, as far as the Girl Scouts, a lackluster response from people willing to march. And Joe Maggieri is, we don't want to disappoint him. So if anybody can march with us, we would appreciate it. I would like to congratulate Lieutenant Walker and his wife and the new godfather over there on the birth of their son, Daniel Patrick. Congratulations. We welcome new businesses to town, Eco Galleria, the Farmers Market, the Upholstery Shop. Welcome and thank you for coming to River Edge. And Saturday, June 1st is the Boy Scout Eagle Court of Honor. I will not be able to attend. Congratulations to Christopher Ryan Fong, Michael Walter Kost, Timothy James Olson, Samuel Yoon Suk Kim, and James Richard Zaccaro. Good work and congratulations. And that's all for today.
Thank you. Councilman Coppola.
Thank you, Mayor. No comments.
Councilwoman Bastide.
My only comment is to congratulate Rivas on Emergency Medical Services Week, and thank you for all you do to keep our residents and visitors safe. Thank you. That's it.
Councilman Mignon.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to congratulate and thank again Ethan and Han for joining the Junior Auxiliary Fire Department. Like I've said many occasions, it's great to see when the young people of the community get involved, especially when you see it's second generation, third generation, whatever. It's just a good testament to the volunteer organization as a whole. I did have the pleasure of attending the Rivas open house yesterday, and I've mentioned this several times from up here. You know, I've had to utilize their services several times in the last few years, and it was different seeing the ambulance standing up this time rather than from my prone position on my back. And Captain Sanders was kind of kind when she said, you know, we can't stand up. Well, you might be able to stand up in it, but I can understand that. But it was great talking to the members. Thank Mr. Kearns over there, too, who does double duty on the ambulance and the fire. There were 2 other young gentlemen who were there yesterday, Ryan and Josh, who were auxiliary members also, I think 16 years old. So he said it's great seeing the young kids come in. Talking to Bill Sanders about, you know, how this is really the last all-volunteer ambulance service we have in the area. Everybody else has partially paid now, and we're fortunate we haven't had to do that yet. That saves the taxpayers money. We should do whatever we can as a council to encourage people to volunteer, support their causes. I know they're fundraising, they want to fundraise for a new ambulance. We should support them whatever way we can. Walking around the building yesterday, too, I happened to notice on the wall that, if I'm wrong, but your 65th anniversary will be on May 30th, the 65th anniversary of the founding of Revis. And I suggested to the captain that we should reach out to the town news. They should do a profile. Maybe that would generate some more publicity, get some more interest in volunteers. But I said, as a council, we were very thankful for what all you folks do. I'm personally thankful because I said you saved me a couple times. And whatever the council can do to support and help you guys out, just let us know, and then we'll do what we can. Thank you.
Councilman Acofreda.
Just a few things. The Borough Hall HVAC system is out to bid, and I believe the bids are due at the end of this month. So we will finally see what the results of those responses will be, and then I'm optimistic that we'll be able to get that work underway. And I know Alan is going to go through a few months of upending and upheaval, but change requires revolution at times. It's clear also that the demographic of River Edge have been changing. We have been a resident of River Edge for the past 27 years now. And when I moved into town and looked at people that were 20 years or more older than I was saying, gee, one day I'm going to be in their place. And a funny thing happened on the way to the forum, and that is that many of these people, in fact, got older and either moved out of town and moved into smaller, more manageable apartment or townhouses outside of River Edge or senior communities. And what happened to the housing stock of River Edge, most of which was built right after the end of World War II, these ranches as well as colonials became inadequate to support the lifestyles that we have created ourselves. And houses that were sufficient to an elderly couple all of a sudden became sought after by double income with kids who started to move into our town at an increasing rate. It also brought renovation of 1946 to 54 houses into the mini-Mac mansions. Those are all built as of right, and as long as they stay on the original foundation system and are within the present bulk regulation of our zoning ordinance, there really isn't much you can do. And you also have to be careful about changing the ordinance, or you'll be accused of spot zoning. We've been through that. The point is also that during these years, we have created perhaps the only tangible to any crisis, which is a successful school system. In fact, it's a fact that we do have one of the best school systems in Bergen County, K through 12. We're also the envies of the academies, arguably by some people, certainly not by me. And what that has brought is the willingness of many families with children to move into River Edge, because we have a blue ribbon school system at all levels that also helps maintain relatively stable the value of your properties. And yes, we did lose values of 20-25% in some cases, but there were quite a bit of properties in our town that remained at maybe 10% loss or remained stable. So I also believe that the River Edge school system cannot sell itself short. They've worked very hard to achieve this status. And perhaps one of the collateral damages of having this status is to attract people to move into River Edge. I'm sure there are that maybe upon investigation, we may come up with a few cases of illegal residency, but having spent a few years at the Big House, I know that those are not enough to justify a remarkable increase in the registration rates that we are experiencing and that will go through the school system and eventually end up at the high school. So we need to look into several tracks on how to deal with this and leave a further school expansion as the last track available after all other possibilities have been exhausted and fully vetted, because then there'll be the unviable task of selling that further expansion to the community, and that could be a tough sale. So I appreciate all the awareness that the River Edge School Board has created, and rightfully so, and I'm always there and willing to help and assist the school board on behalf of mayor and council in continuing down a path of leaving no stone unturned, which goes from checking residency to investigating other possibility to house this increased amount of students that we will get every year. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Papaleo.
Yeah, just very briefly, I'd like to echo the comments of Councilwoman Murphy, Councilwoman Bastide, and Councilman Mignon in their thanks and gratitude to all the different peoples and events that are going on in town. But I'd like to just, Ethan and Han, I'm thrilled to have them as junior firefighters, and I also wish I could have been at Rivas, but we had First Communion in Virginia. But please extend my gratitude to the entire volunteer ambulance corps. And that's it. Thank you, Mayor.
All right. Before I have a comment, Councilwoman Murphy.
I just want to thank Mr. Sarlo for helping us with the resolution for the farmers market. It's looking very good. We have about 10 to 12 vendors right now. I was in touch with Adrian Capasso, who sent me the regulations needed for the vendors, and we are looking forward to Thursday, June 12th, 1 to 6 in the parking lot at American Legion. Thank you very much.
All right, I want to again thank Ethan Loke for joining the junior fire squad in town, second generation firefighter here in River Edge. It's a great honor and a privilege to having sworn him in, and Han Chang for joining the River Edge Fire Department. It's good that in these days that there's a general malaise on volunteering, that River Edge seems to be unaffected and actually seems to be thriving with the amount of volunteers that we have. I want to thank all of the members from SCORE, probably 24 of them, for attending tonight and for giving us their opinion, which is soon to be in writing, on a proposed community center, which would incorporate, hopefully, all of the senior activities that they would like to hold, not only 1 or 2 days a week, but 5 days a week. I want to extend all of my appreciation for Rivas and the great job that they do from day to day. I only couldn't attend the open house because my daughter was getting her master's degree in Pennsylvania. Otherwise, I would have been there. Really, without great members like Kathy O'Donnell, who came to my house when I was in distress, I wouldn't be sitting in this chair today. So, Kathy, I just want to thank you for helping elect me mayor. I want to thank Mary Donahue for attending and appearing on behalf of the Bergen County Historical Society and the Newbridge Landing Park Commission. She's a great resident, a great volunteer. We love to see her, and she always has She always has some great public project that she's working on, where the least we could do is send a letter in support of whatever she wants to get accomplished to help beautify and use the historic Newbridge Landing as an economic engine for our town. I really appreciate it when members of the public show up tonight, as they did, including our regulars, like Mr. Smith and Mr. Carroll and Peggy White and the Chief, and Lou over here, who come to every meeting. It's always more enjoyable when you have people at the meeting. It's more vibrant, more exciting. I'm looking forward to enjoying the summer here in town, going to the opening of the farmers market, attending the Memorial Day celebration on the 26th of May. I hope everybody can come out for that, to pay homage to our veterans, and just a great summer. So with that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We can go back into the work session to get whatever unfinished work we have cleaned up.
So moved.
Second.
The motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
We were done.
7:30.
I
Sign that paper.
left out Peter Dunsey.
Please.
You'll get him next week.
Sorry about it.
It's okay, he's always there.
I was there, but I didn't get pictures. Can they see it? Tell whoever took them.
He had it. And he wasn't.
Oh, I'll get it. Virginia has it. Yeah, he might have it.
All right, let's go back into the work session. Can I have a roll call, please?
Councilwoman Murphy?
Here.
Councilman Pacola?
Here.
Councilwoman Dees? Here. Councilman Young?
Here.
Councilman Frida?
Present.
And Councilman Aleo?
Here.
All right, I don't know if we finished unfinished business.
Mayor, I have some more unfinished business.
Okay, then that's where we'll begin, unfinished business.
Mayor, I'd like an update on where we are with the email accounts for all sworn-in volunteers. I'm still getting emails from volunteers off of their private account or their work account, and I was wondering, did the letters go out? Have the accounts been set up? Where are we generally on that timeline?
Good question.
Have to ask the Borough Clerk to address that.
The letters did go out. Actually, Denise did it before she left. She sent out individual letters to everyone that she had on the list, giving them their borough address and what their temporary password was.
The reason I ask is my wife is a sworn volunteer, and I do not believe she got it. And if that had happened, maybe there are others too. I know that Chief Caridi sometimes is not, fire chief, is not necessarily emailing me off that account. So I would ask if possible for us to review that list and perhaps send a postcard or something again. Reset.
Ellen?
Just wanted to piggyback off of that. We now, in order to use those borough emails, we have to go to an outside website to access that, an outside server. And I wonder if steps could be taken to possibly remove that step and have it be either through Outlook. I think we're asking our sworn-in volunteers to use this go through an outside website to access their email account. It's not as easy when you're doing that remotely as it could be if we were using a system like Outlook. So I think it's something that is not urgent, but we should consider looking at down the road.
I'd like to support that too, because I'm used to going to Workspace, Logon, which is from GoDaddy, a subsidiary, but I think people who aren't, it can be burdensome, and therefore they would be less likely to use it, and it would defeat the purpose of establishing these accounts.
But I set mine right up on my iPhone and I
So
get
did
it.
I.
you can set up as an added
I
account. You don't
have
have to go through GoDaddy, it just...
No, I do too. I have it on my, but if I'm accessing it from my home computer, you have to go to the workspace login. It isn't, I don't know if you can put it in Outlook Express, but when you're accessing it from home, not from your smartphone, and not everyone has smartphones, and so it's just something that over time, I agree with Councilwoman Bastide, we may want to look into if that over time is...
But it'd be no different than logging into rivered.com. It's just another platform there.
Well, I don't know that it's compatible with Workspace, Outlook.
Yeah, I think if you're using something like Outlook, you don't take that extra step, correct?
Maybe there's a patch where it can be used with Outlook, and maybe we need to look into that.
And I think this discussion just brings to light that there should be maybe more instruction given to the volunteers on how to access that.
I know Judy was speaking about this. She said it seemed to be kind of troublesome to implement because people didn't know, the same type of thing. So this is like an ongoing discussion that we should have until it finally gets done. So can we list that every meeting?
Mayor, I just need a budget and a tech guy. That's it. I'll make the assignment, award the contract, and we'll get it done.
Okay. So we can list it on the next meeting, we can talk about it.
All right. Ella?
Are we still in unfinished
Yes.
business? Okay. I had mentioned this earlier before we went into the public meeting. The improvements on Fifth Avenue will no longer include a bike lane. However, I understand Mr. Costa has identified painted sharrows that can go on that Fifth Avenue corridor.
Right, just signage indicating it's a bike way.
Correct.
Like we have in other sections of town already, and a sharrow.
Which are painted symbols on the roadway.
That's it.
I just wanted clarification of that.
So
Is that a motion to do?
Well, I think that we should have a motion that, as part of our Complete Streets policy, that we have those sharrows painted on Fifth Avenue to show as markers that that's not a bike lane.
Not a bike lane.
It's not a bike lane because we can't have a bike lane.
Yeah, I think that we already decided that from an engineering standpoint, but as I understand, we could still designate it as a bike way, and there was a consensus to designate it as a bike way. And the Traffic and Safety Committee recommended it as a bike way, and we're just going to, when we go forward and do Fifth Avenue, we're going to have the signage and the sharrows.
I'd like to just make a motion that action be taken.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion?
Yeah, I'm not clear what that means. And if it's in accordance with the MUTCD and we're not striping a lane, then I don't have an issue, but I'd like to see what the MUCTD allows you to have, and then, then fine, but a bike way is different to me than what is a shared lane, so I need to know what the definition of a bike way means in accordance with the MUTCD.
Well, as I understand it, and Mr. Costa said he had like this much information to email us, and we haven't gotten it yet. When we get it, of course, we'll forward it.
Mr. Costa also told us the bike lane would fit.
I know, and then you raised a good point that...
And that's why I want to make sure that we're getting proper information the second time, that's all.
That questioned the width of the roadway, and we confirmed that we couldn't do a bike lane in accordance with the MUTCD, so we abandoned that. But we decided that we could still designate it as a bikeway, as we have designated it on other streets, with the addition of a sharrow. So that's the motion, right?
Yep. Nice.
And there's a second. And we're going to get the information, and if after you get the information, Ed, if you have a technical question before the bids get awarded, then we'll have Mr. Costa address it.
But I have another question. You said the Traffic Safety Committee recommended this. I've yet to see minutes from one of these meetings or recommendations coming forth. Like when we have a Finance Committee meeting or a Personnel Committee, Alan does minutes, it'll tell you what the recommendations of the committee were. I haven't seen anything come from this.
Because I haven't had a chance to type them up yet. They're here.
Okay, but this wasn't your first meeting.
No, but this was the
This
meeting
is
we
the first
discussed
meeting we
today.
ever discussed,
But generally, you don't have any minutes from these meetings, what's discussed, or?
We haven't really made any recommendations before today. Before this last meeting, right? We never really had a quorum or anything.
Well, that would make sense. If you didn't have a quorum, there wouldn't be minutes.
I mean, I just pulled the traffic and safety ordinance so I could familiarize myself with how many people are on the, one of the problems we were having is that, like Kathy O'Donnell, she's been on the committee since 2003. It's the first time I ever met her was because it's the first time we had a 7 p.m. meeting. All of our meetings are usually 8 a.m. and nobody would show up.
Well, that actually brings to new business I want to bring up.
still have old business.
Old business, I'm sorry, old business. We've talked about, this is my third year on the council, we talked about the fact that we have committees that can't meet on a pretty regular basis. They never make a quorum. And then we get to December and we start thinking about who we wish to put on the committees. But we have people who either can't show up or never show up, or I think that we might want to think about, I don't know if this requires a resolution or an ordinance, that there should be a required attendance, and if a quorum isn't made, then that attendance be, memorialized some other way, and then it should be reported to the council in early December who's actually coming to these meetings, because it seems counterproductive, it seems almost foolish to me that we have these committees that we appoint people to and reappoint people to, and they can never meet.
But to that point, we added, 9 or 10 members to the Beautification Committee, and last month they didn't have a quorum. We did that with the intent of them having more members so they could have a quorum. They still couldn't get a quorum. So I agree with you. I think the issue we looked at one point was because some of these commissions meet quarterly, and most of it, you have to miss 1 or 2 meetings, so it's hard to generate that kind of history to give somebody a warning per se, saying, you missed 2 meetings and you're in violation. But I agree. We had the issue with the Environmental Commission. The mayor knows about that. We talked about that. We started beautification. The other groups are doing it too. So,
but I would make just because you brought up beautification, I think there's a nuance between working committees and non-working committees. Beautification is a working committee. Now, they may not have a quorum for a meeting, but when they go out and do the work, where all of them show up.
Yes.
So I think we as a council have to at least mentally distinguish between committees that have activities beyond the formal meetings, the official meetings, and committees that don't, and therefore, if they don't meet, they don't meet. Whereas with beautification, if they don't have a quorum, they still are going to go out and take care of all the sites. But I think that we need some sort of record keeping that gives us some idea. And then, at least if nothing else, we can say in December, listen, we as a council, or we could designate Alan or someone in administrative staff to contact via a letter or phone call, hey, you've been on this committee for 2 years and your attendance is 0. Do you wish to stay on? If so, what can we do by way of planning the meeting so that you can attend? These are things I think we can and should do, and I think it is our responsibility as a council to hold people accountable or to modify how the meetings occur so that people who wish to attend do attend.
Have you guys ever considered, and getting volunteers is only going to get difficult going forward, it's going to get worse and worse. You ever consider, you guys have a lot of committees and a lot of commissions, a lot of them, maybe looking into consolidating some, So if you got 4 showing up on this committee and 3 showing up on this committee, and regularly showing up, and somehow it's somewhat of a fit, you consolidate the 2, and maybe then you're going to start getting a regular 6 or 7 showing up, and maybe doing double work, but showing up, So maybe just putting another committee together to look at the committees and commissions to see possibly to streamline it somewhat and taking some of the people that are not showing up off, because you're going to take them off and you're going to look for people to replace them, and just finding those people is almost near impossible at this point.
Tom, that makes too much sense.
Yeah, but I think the only commission that has that problem is the Environmental Commission. I mean, I don't think you have an issue with Shade Tree or the Rec Commission. I think they seem to be having quorums,
That may
so
be
it's
the thing.
environmental is...
Bring that into a committee, into a green
And
committee, something like
what
that.
Tom's saying about the working groups, it's not as crucial.
Let's just pause in this discussion because it's a very good discussion. We should continue to have it. But as I recall, we lost track because there was a motion and a second
Right.
to designate Fifth Avenue as a bike way. And I think... And have Sharrows. And I think we...
Given with Mr. Costa's...
With Mr. Costa's
recommendation
and his review of that.
Right, so that's where we were, and we discussed that. There's some engineering issues that Ed raised that hopefully Mr. Costa is going to address, and if not, then we have to change the plan again, eliminate the Sharrows, do whatever we have to do to make it so it's in compliance with the MUTCD, because we all agree it should be in compliance with the MUTCD.
Plans are done, we authorize them to go to bid, so you can't change it at this point.
Well, I think the plan...
So I don't know what the final plans are. We haven't signed the plan.
I think the plans show,
No, because typically we review the plan, we sign the plan before it even goes to authorize the bid.
Well,
That's usually the
do we have a
process.
plan? Because my understanding, the plan showed the bike path and
We haven't
everything.
seen the plan. We usually sign the plan before we authorize it to go to bid, do we not? That's been the procedure that I've been here.
Is that the plan?
No, he brought an early draft of it. I'm not saying that's the final. Doesn't tell me it was a bike lane.
But am I correct now, don't typically we sign the plans and then go...
It's part of our design immunity to ask you to do that review.
Were we going to do that tonight or another night?
I had asked Mr. Costa to come to the meetings. I don't think he was done finalizing, so...
So
it
next
makes sense
meeting?
for him to come. I can have here June 2nd.
Yeah, well, the plan shows what looks to me like a bike lane with Sharrows on both sides of the street, which
Those are still the old plans.
really is not
Those are the
necessary.
old plans, Mayor. Sandy,
No, that's the old plan, no, this is not the old plan.
It says a bike lane.
No, that's what I'm saying, he's doing it bike lane by proxy, and that's what I'm saying, it's gonna be a problem.
No, but I know what it is.
With the striping plan. I can't even see these things.
Shower center from Chipperson Green.
Yeah, see, he's striping it.
On both sides.
Yeah. This is gonna cause all kinds of problems, parked cars and people not knowing what's going on.
And that's why we're having the discussion, because we have to,
rejected those plans.
I think we've already decided we're not going to do this design. We want to have an alternative design where it's just the signs that say bikeway, and just on one side of the street to have the Sharrows.
What is a Sharrow again?
It's a circle
just a-
painted with the image of a cyclist.
It's just a...
Why can't it be on both sides? I'm concerned about only having something on one side. I mean, I don't think it's safe to have...
Is that a de facto bike lane?
No.
No, it's not.
You'll see them, it'll say share the road, and it's more of an education thing. And it's different. It's different than having a stencil of a bicycle on the street, making people think that's a bike lane. And having one on one side is not safe.
Ed, you want to put it on both sides? We'll put it on both sides.
No, I don't know if it depends on how it's going to lay out.
I don't think we need it on both sides. If you think it should be on both sides...
I don't think we should have it at all, but if you're going to have it, then that's what you have, share the road, if that's what you want to do. But I don't want to see imprints all the way down Fifth Avenue with...
Isn't our grant contingent upon putting something like this?
Absolutely not. Mr. Costa amplified that as a fact, but that's not the case. we get local aid grants every year.
I know we get it every year.
We didn't do anything special on Howland. We didn't do anything special on, any other street that I'm aware of in probably a dozen towns where I've been involved with local aid DOT applications.
So are we awaiting something from Mr. Costa or not?
Yeah, the final drawing.
Well, I want to ask Stephanie, the authorization to go to bid, is there a bid date set? Okay.
You only advertise unless, we have to have...
No,
that plans in hand.
but we voted to authorize it to go to
Yes,
bid.
because it'll be another 2 weeks before we meet again, so we're trying to get out the bid as soon as possible.
So we authorize so that you go out to bid
We don't
before
usually
the
do that
council
way.
meeting. Yeah.
We usually sign the plans
Right.
first, and that night we authorize to go to bid. That's usually the process we've had.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to, I was really thinking out loud.
All right, let's have, we have a motion and a second. Let's have a vote. We can bring Mr. Costa in anytime we want. Let's have a roll call, please.
Councilwoman
Can you
Murphy?
just restate your, was it your motion? Restate your motion. I think it's just a bike lane and a sharrow, right?
It's not a bike lane,
I mean, a
it's
bike way,
with
sorry.
signage and sharrows.
Sorry, I was wrong. It's not a bike lane.
Bike way.
It's a very specific term.
And just FYI, that increases the cost, because
Well, the cost
it's
is
marginal.
It's marginal. But again, our policy
Showers
does
on a cheap
say
day.
that if these improvements are more than 5% of the budget, they're not
Correct.
supposed to happen. I don't think this is going to amount to 5% of the
No,
budget.
no.
It's more of whether policy-wise it makes sense, safety-wise it makes sense, engineering-wise it makes sense, and
But
I
does
don't
it
know if we
also
have
help
information.
complete streets on that end?
Well,
It does,
Yes.
right?
There's no doubt, there's no question.
we
that
are
it-
following
that
our
it helps
complete streets policy by
By sharing the
making
roadway, by making the roadway,
this safer for all
Accessible
users,
to
yeah,
pedestrians, bikes, and cars.
without any impact to parking.
I mean,
yeah, no impact to parking,
Just
we don't
paint.
want that.
Let's have the vote.
Yeah.
All right, roll call, please. Can you call the,
Yes. Councilwoman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Polo?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bastidas?
Yes.
Councilman Young?
no.
Councilman Acalfredo?
Yes.
Councilman Papaleo?
Yes.
okay. Are we done with unfinished
no, I
business?
still have sorry. It's going to be really quick. Sorry. Anything about the Mercedes that the police put up for auction? Have we put that back up? Is it for sale? Did anyone buy it?
The bid date, the bid time closed on Friday. The
Uh-huh.
highest bid was $10,600.
So they got more than the original one?
Yes, but the reserve was
Again?
12,500.
Again?
Yes.
We gotta get
What?
what we get. So-
That was the first reserve.
The first reserve was 10,000.
No, 12,000.
No, 12,005. So we got 10,000 on the second one, and it was still a
So obviously
12,000
the reserve's
reserve?
high. Just take what we're going to get.
There's the reserve.
But the chief wants to go back for a third time, and he's going to lower the reserve to, I believe, 11,500.
He
Well,
should
wait a
have
minute.
lowered
Hold
the
it.
second time.
Hold it. I have a question for our CFO. Alan,
We don't see this money.
I know we don't see
Goes
the
to
money.
prosecutors.
But we can apply to get the
Yes.
money.
Yeah,
It's
but
money, it's just stuff like that.
what is the chief of police, who's not in the used car business, doing setting a reserve on this Mercedes?
Good night.
The first time we got 9,500, okay.
Set the reserve for
The
10,000.
second
Why don't
time we
do
get
you need a reserve? Just take what-
10,600.
You get what you can get. We're going to get what we're going to get.
But we might get 1,000 the next time.
We might, you're right. So having a reserve doesn't...
You know what? Just make a motion to set the reserve, and we'll send it to the chief, and he'll do it.
I'm going to make a motion to set the reserve at $9,000. No?
We already got a bid for 10,006.
Who don't we going to rebid this time, though?
If you had $100, what would you do with it?
If we
The room.
reserve 9 and we
There's
got
something
10.
going on there.
We should always make it what it was. We got 10.5, make it 10.5 because...
We're still breathing.
Yeah, 10,500. Let's do it and go home.
$10,500.
I second.
That's
Is there a
crazy.
second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
I'll
good.
tell them tomorrow.
I also had a question, there was in the newspaper, there was reimbursement for faulty police vests that was distributed, money distributed to 270 towns for police vests.
I didn't see it. Could you please
Sure.
provide me with that article? I'll look into it.
Did you see that, Tom?
No, I didn't.
Nope. And I have to ask about the unsightly trailer in front of the yeshiva. It's just plopped there. Under whose direction would that remain or stay, or?
You mean a trailer with no wheels?
Yeah.
Yes,
The
they should move
construction
it to the
trailer
side.
just plopped on the grass?
Oh, on the
Doesn't look-
grass.
doesn't
It's
look like-
unstable. Mr. Costa should direct them to put it on a flat surface.
It looks very unstable, it's on the hill.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to tip over.
You
And
could get
it's
people
used, it's not even a nice trailer, it's like somebody's old trailer.
Did you see the trailer?
I saw it, yeah.
How can you
It
not
looks
see
unstable to me, and it should be down on a flat area.
Or the zoning,
Or
or
the zo-
whoever's in charge of that.
Okay. What
That's all
else?
for me today.
Good. Any new business? Any new business?
Please, no one but happen to do.
Thomas?
No, I said please no.
Okay. I have a question for Stephanie. Have we gathered any surveys? Have any come back?
We actually got, I believe, 2.
2?
Yes.
Okay. All right, well, keep collecting them.
We're also going to be doing it via SurveyMonkey email, so that the people that do come on the internet, those dinosaurs, they can reply via internet instead of printing a piece of paper and then coming back to Borough Hall.
All right, as long as they all get forwarded to Stephanie, and then when we're done collecting them, they all can get sent to the subcommittee.
Mayor, let's have a motion. Ask for a motion.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Right on.
The Riverdale.